Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Mr. Joel Dells. And this is episode 593 and we are underway right now. We're heading towards the NFL season and today is our first official preview of the NFL season, starting off with your favorite division, Riv, the NFC East.
Yeah. It's not my favorite division.
Why not? Your team.
I hate every team in it.
I think that's fair. He hits 3 of the teams in the division. It wouldn't be my favorite division either. AFC West isn't my favorite division.
No.
Favorite team, though.
Love them.
And you have CD, who you love.
You know what my favorite division is, quietly?
Giants, too.
Giants. Old ties.
I hate
No?
them. I hate NFC, what was it? NFC South.
That's your favorite division?
Yeah.
Why?
Favorite.
What do you like about it?
Panthers. They're a good, cool little story. I like the
Okay.
Falcons uniforms.
Oh.
There really is no ties for me. In
Is
the South.
it anything about the players or just like the teams?
I like that it's just no ties, so I can watch it, and there's no
Okay.
you know what I'm saying?
There's
like,
no feeling behind
there
it.
is no feeling. I could just enjoy it. Like, whether it's good, it's good. It's bad.
I
it's
feel
bad.
like you root against Bryce Young because of CJ Stroud.
Honestly, no.
He just does it for you.
No, I really have no. See how you tried to pin me against you?
I mean, it's fine. He was elite in his one playoff game.
He was.
I don't root against Bryce at all. I actually have no feelings towards Bryce.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually unbelievable that Bryce Young finished with less passing yards than Jacoby Brissett,
Oh shit.
Daniel Jones,
Aaron Rodgers,
Rodgers, and
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Okay, you can believe that a little bit, but it just I don't know. It felt like he had a better year. I
Yeah,
won't say that.
3,100 yards.
Mhm.
You know,
Just
did you know CJ had like 80 yards less and he missed 6 games?
CJ had a nice year last year in the regular season.
It was cute.
Regular
Until it
season was
until
decent.
it got
He absolutely took
Yeah,
a
no.
giant steamy pile of shit.
it got worse and worse. That was the crazier part.
Like, I thought it couldn't get worse than the
the
Steelers.
first yeah, and then it got worse.
You know I'm all in on Houston this year, right?
I don't care.
I feel like if
that's the easy
everyone
answer.
should be.
But are you all in on CJ? Because if you're not all in on Houston.
I think CJ will be fine. He'll be
No.
fine to good.
In order to be all in on Houston, you have to be all in on CJ.
I think
Literally.
if CJ's fine to good, that's all they need.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
Sure. That's all they need.
I wasn't
He
all in on Sam Darnold. As the season went on, I still thought Seattle could do it, you know?
Okay, that's fair. But he wasn't as for CJ. He just has to be slightly Drake May and then go to Super Bowl
Yeah.
in the playoffs.
Oh, I
you
mean,
know what I'm saying?
Drake May was terrible in the playoffs.
Like he just has to be regular. Just don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Just make plays when need to.
Well, I mean, if he's a regular season Drake May, then
Honestly, outside of
conversation.
Sam Darnold against the Rams, if he's just Sam Darnold in the playoffs last year, they go to the Super Bowl.
yeah, he shot them in the foot a lot, even in games they won.
Yeah. So, you know,
Football here. We're here, man. A couple weeks from training camp.
what are you excited about?
The Jets, of course. Lamar, of course. Drake May, of course. Caleb Williams, of course.
Drake May's insane.
Um,
What happened to him?
fantasy
Good.
football?
He doesn't need me.
It's your time of the year. Your favorite
I
time of the year.
from afar. Like, yo. Like a.
It wasn't afar. You were dick eating.
No,
Crazy.
now going forward.
Oh.
You have a jersey, bro.
Huh?
You have a jersey, bro.
I got gifted a jersey. Shout out to Santos.
I can't.
Gifted. What am I going to do? What do you want me to do?
It's yours.
It's in my closet.
He wears it.
Santos stopped gifting me things.
He goes to sleep at night with it.
I put it in my closet just so I leave the closet door just peeked open just so I can
He
see
goes-
it. And I look, yep. I fall asleep. Looking at Drake May. Beautiful. Metaphoric in a way.
Are you still a Caleb eater?
I love Caleb.
Okay.
Love Caleb.
So Caleb, Lamar.
You know, I've always been a fan of Colin Coward, but it might be time to renounce that because he
Cooked.
left
He cooked.
he left Lamar off his top 10 quarterbacks. He had Caleb Williams at 3.
Oh my
I
God.
was like, all right, this is what we're doing.
Oh, you didn't see what he said today.
What?
He
That
said-
he fell off a cliff?
In a big game, I'm taking Bo Nix over.
Yeah,
Lamar
he said that
Jackson.
he was
Said
like,
to lead his team from behind in the fourth.
In the
oh, I
fourth
didn't see all of that. I just saw a couple clips online.
Fried your quarterback.
He cooked.
Yeah, I don't know. He was talking crazy. I don't know what happened. He
Lamar
kinda
fall
liked Lamar.
off? You think so? I don't
Nah,
think so.
I think he was just hurt last year, so he wasn't running.
Lamar Jackson right now is being disrespected.
69th on the top 100.
Exactly.
Fuck are you
And,
doing?
That should be a compliment given the fact that he was injured and didn't make the playoffs.
well, he was behind Cortland Sutton. I don't think there's any justifying it.
he missed 6 games.
I'm trying to justify it.
No, he missed 6 games and didn't have a 500 record.
Would you put
You would never do
hold
that.
on. Drew, would you put Joel Embiid 70th in the NBA in his prime?
No.
Even though he missed like
So what
70
fuck are we doing here,
games.
man?
Listen, just be grateful he made the list considering the season he had, you know?
Who else was on? I wonder who else was ahead of him. Because if Cortland Sutton was ahead of him, I can only imagine other names.
Bo Nix will be.
Damn.
Riv, there hasn't been a single second that passes by since Lamar Jackson's been in the NFL that he's not a top 60 fucking player.
Oh, that's the fluke.
I'm with you.
No.
Not
Higher.
a second.
Higher.
I don't know why you put the bar at 60.
Yeah, you
Because he was
could've-
ranked 60
I know.
fucking 9.
I don't know what happened, man. They must have forgot him. It was just like, fuck, let's just put him here.
I don't know, man. Bias.
How many Jets were up there?
I don't know. Honestly, I,
mean,
haven't been paying
Lamar
attention to
wasn't
lists
good
except
last
since
year,
then.
bro. Like,
It doesn't matter, bro. He was just hurt. 900 passer rating.
he wasn't good.
Bro threw out one stat.
100 passer rating, bro. Good.
Now, he's still not 69. Like, he needs like 3-4 straight bad years.
Yeah, like, bro, he ran basically half his, and fucking Colin Cowherd said it on his damn radio show too. He's like, Lamar, last year, all of a sudden, his rushing got cut in half. He had a hamstring injury halfway through the season. Like, I wonder why his rushing got cut in half.
That's like one
I
of your
got
idols,
I got
too.
baited bad.
You did.
The league executives have been putting out top 10 lists throughout the offseason. Next up is the wide receivers. That's going to be out by the time this podcast is released. But the top 10 quarterbacks list is what has everybody up in a frenzy because number one
Probably
in the top
under.
10 quarterbacks list is Josh Allen. Number 2 is Patrick Mahomes. Number 3 is Matthew Stafford. If I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm really saying it right. Maybe Stafford's number 2. I don't know. Number 4 is Joe Burrow. Number 5 is Lamar Jackson. Number 6 is Dak. Number 7 is Herbert. Number 8 is Goff.
Drake May.
Oh, no, Drake May. You're right. Number 9 is Goff. And then number 10 is Caleb Williams.
I will say, like, before we get into this quarterback list, and Drew's probably going to hate this, I'm probably going to feel like how Dell's feels because they're going to drop that wide receiver list. And I swear to God on my life,
It's
if
just
I
not-
see Amon-Ra
No.
ahead of Justin Jefferson
You
on
might,
that
bro.
list, I might do some dangerous
I'm gonna be
things,
lit
bro.
because I've
'Cause,
been on
like,
the right side of
There's
history.
there's never been a day in the NFL where Amon-Ra is better than
I
Jets.
mean, last year Amon-Ra was better than Jet.
Better quarterback.
Yeah,
Situational. Everything's situational.
100%.
Everything's situational. Everything's
I
circumstantial.
mean, I watched Andre Johnson situationally be with garbage, and every single year he's a legend.
I mean, this was a different type of garbage, to be
You're
fair.
cooking.
Because, like, we've had garbage before. We had 1,600.
That's true.
You know? We
Well,
had
so if you're calling Sam Darnold garbage,
No. We had 1,400 with Sam.
because I was gonna say I watched Jamar Chase.
What?
I watched Jamar
Why are you
Chase.
laughing?
Are you calling Kirk Cousins garbage?
we have
No,
1,400.
no.
Like you are Jet. You are Jet.
I'm with Jet. Like, I'm with Jet. No.
Because Jamar Chase with Jake Browning had 1,270, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
we was leading the league one year. We had like a band. We had Dobbs. It was like 3 different quarterbacks, but then we got hurt.
They
that was with Kirk.
JJ McCarthy.
No.
was
Yeah.
dog shit
Kirk
for
got
a
hurt
while.
week 4. Or was it
Mhm.
like week 3, something like
Well,
that?
Jet also got injured that year too.
Yeah.
Is Jake Brown? Who was better, Jake Browning when he was playing, or JJ McCarthy last year?
It's not about who was
Easily,
better.
yeah.
Jake Brown.
It was who was getting niggas the ball,
Jake
bro.
Browning,
Jake
bro.
Browning was getting Jamar the ball like 15, 16
And they didn't get a
Yeah.
Max Brosmer game in there too.
We know that
Carson Wentz.
Production
Max Brosnan
isn't
game was
isn't solely
nuts,
tied
bro.
to how good you are as a player.
No,
Like,
of course.
Jefferson could have less yardage than Amon-Ra, but
I know.
he's way better than
He
him.
is.
Yeah.
He is.
Comfortable.
I
Different
mean,
tier. Yeah.
Jet is on
Different
GOAT
tiers.
trajectory.
But we'll see what the top 10 wide receiver list is. We have the top 10 quarterback list. What was your reaction to seeing where these players were placed?
What was yours, man?
Well, I think that Jordan Love was the easiest snub of them all.
I saw your tweets. Your tweets pop up for me, and I saw them.
Thank you. Jordan Love, he had a better year than Caleb Williams. There's nothing to justify Caleb Williams being ahead of Jordan Love in a quarterback ranking unless you're just going by a tidbit in a moment. In the playoffs, the Bears did come back. Caleb Williams did make some special throws. Jordan Love had over 300 yards in that game, 4 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, and his kicker consistently missed kicks, and Jaden Reed had a crucial drop on the final drive of the game. And Caleb, the Bears did win a playoff game, but he had more turnovers than touchdowns in the playoffs. It's not like his playoff run was spectacular. And in the regular season, he was one of the more inaccurate quarterbacks in the NFL, while Jordan Love was an MVP candidate until he got hurt late in the year. And according to all stats, you look at QBR, passer rating, EPA, he's towards the top of the league, success rates towards the top of the league. And that's with his best wide receiver in Christian Watson missing almost half the year, the run game being inconsistent, and the offensive line being ranked in the mid-20s. Jordan Love, he's a quarterback that consistently does more with less. He plays at an elite level, and he doesn't get credit for it because who he is following, the path of, the footsteps of with his organization, with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, that is the standard in Green Bay. If he was playing for any other franchise, he would get way more recognition.
Yeah, Jordan Love was the biggest snub for me. I understand. I don't know if it's a Green Bay Packers thing, or I don't know if he's getting compared to the previous quarterbacks of Green Bay's, lore, but there really hasn't been a season for Jordan Love where he hasn't been statistically a top 10 guy. I understand the season Caleb had. It was magical. Jared Goff at 9, or was he at 8? I had the list
9.
open. Jared Goff at 9. It's just a bit inconsistent because I feel like Drake May at 8, you're just taking away all of the playoffs because regular season he was fantastic. But 7 you have Justin Herbert and 6 you have Dak, and now them dudes even made the playoffs. I understand they have maybe a bigger track record, but the season that Drake May had, just regular season's up there with all those guys.
But Dak was pretty great in the regular season.
He was great, but I feel like Drake is getting pushed down because of the playoffs.
Yeah,
Because obviously, if it's regular season, he's not 9 or
But
8.
I also think he was horrendous in the playoffs.
He was, but Dak didn't make it, and Herbert was terrible in the first round.
Maybe that's good for Dak. He didn't make it, so they can't tax him for it.
That's why sometimes it's better just not to go because you don't get ridiculed like this if you played like shit. But I don't know. Some of it was inconsistent. I guess Burrow and Lamar, when Burrow played last year, he was better. I would have Lamar over him. The top 3 is valid, though. Top 3 is valid.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford's getting the love that he deserves. And it
MVP,
took a long time, 100%.
You're going up last year.
Good for him. I'm happy for him. I think the top 2 are fine. I think it's fine. Josh Allen deserves to be at the top, especially with Mahomes not being able to finish the season, unfortunately, even though Mahomes was playing great. All things considered, given the situation, I think he played pretty great. Lamar Jackson 5. I know you hated that.
It was
it must have sucked to see.
Josh Allen 1's also, I don't know, bro. I think it's kind of like who should be 1. Like we can't put Mahomes. He's off the injury. Stafford can't be number 1.
Stafford could have been 1.
Stafford could have been.
He could have been 1.
Well, if it's one guy that should have been 1, it should. If it's not Mahomes, Lamar, or Allen, it should have been Stafford.
Stafford easily.
I mean, there's no way that Josh Allen is ranked number 1 after having 4 turnovers in a playoff.
So I'm saying, bro. I feel like we're kind of just brushing that to the side.
His season ended with 4 turnovers in a playoff game. Him being one of the main catalysts of why his team lost, and another year where he showed he can't do what Patrick Mahomes can do.
Okay. Okay.
He's not. I mean, he's not wrong.
You were the same nigga that was like, he's the reason the team could have won.
Yeah, he was.
So what the fuck? What are you talking about?
He was also.
Did you watch what I sent you?
He was great and bad.
Did you watch what I sent you?
No, I did not.
The Broncos baited the fuck out of Josh Allen in that playoff game.
He sent me a video about how Vance Joseph knew that they weren't going to stop Josh Allen, so they basically just like baited him into turnovers.
Yeah, I mean it worked.
It did work.
It was pretty interesting to watch because I do think the only turnover that I'm just not outwardly putting on Josh is the 50-50 between Brandon Cooks and Jaquan McMillan.
What about the fumble?
Then that's on him.
Yeah. Okay, you're saying that's the only way.
The only one I'm not putting on Josh is that one.
Yeah, that one is
because even the PJ Locke interception, PJ made a great break on it, but that's still in double coverage. That's an interesting ball. The turnover before half. And then the strip sack from Nick Bonita. Also, fringe, because Nick just sped rush powered through Dion and got the sack strip. So like
he also missed a wide open touchdown
that he did.
Potentially the game winner.
That he did.
That hurts too.
And I'm not mad about it, truthfully.
That's why I feel like they didn't know who to put 1. I feel like they said we can't put Stafford at 1 because he hasn't ever been better than Mahomes. You can't put Mahomes at 1 because he's coming off a season where the Chiefs were about to miss the playoffs and he got injured. So they're like, fuck it, let's just put Josh at 1.
What is this? They had nobody else to put 1, so they put Josh as if he isn't deserving as 1. It sounds ridiculous because if they had like we just said, they had someone they could have put at 1. They could have put Stafford at 1.
They panicked, I'll be honest.
They didn't panic. They had
to submit by midnight.
The nigga just that good. He's just that good, bro.
Josh torched the Jaguars. He had 4 turnovers against us, but you love to remind me he did whatever he wanted though.
Outside, I mean, when he wasn't turning the ball over, he was moving the ball.
Yeah.
But like, you can't be like, oh, Josh, he moved the ball. You can't have the 4 turnovers and the missed touchdown to win the game.
He was torching them and also turning the ball over. It happens. It happens.
Not often.
Not
You don't see that game very often from a quarterback.
It was
happens,
rare.
man. It
I will
happens.
say
Only one man can do it.
I will say the obvious statement. I do think that you make a decent point. Drake had a conversation to be over Dak, to be over Herbert, especially considering that they were so willing to put Caleb Williams at number 10 after being, like Joel said, one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks in the league. And also, his last memory you have of him on the football field of last season is throwing an interception, which ultimately led to them losing the game.
And that's the thing. I have a problem with the dissection of that interception. DJ Moore didn't run the crispest route. That was a bad ball regardless.
It was.
It was going to be either an incomplete pass or you saw, Caleb threw it directly to the defender. DJ Moore was not going to make up that ground.
It's a bailout to try and cope for what had been up until that point pretty awesome Caleb Williams football, all things considered, but he made a mistake. That was a mistake. He had an amazing moment to end the game, but outside of that, that game was really stale. And you look at the way that Seattle torched the LA Rams in the next round, you would anticipate that the Bears could do a lot more than what they ended up doing in that game versus the Rams in the semifinal conference round. The fact that they underwhelmed as much as they did offensively, I get it. It was an ugly, rainy game. They lagged behind drastically. He made an amazing play to Colson Loveland, but then he made a boneheaded throw to DJ Moore for an interception, which ended up losing them the game. I get Caleb Williams is going to be a future star in this league. I'm not here to rob him of what he is or what he can be. I'm just here to be consistent and honest. The fact that he gets all this love, but now we're off Jaden Daniels. Brock Purdy, who ended the year incredibly, was one of the main reasons that the Niners were able to finesse their spot into the playoffs at all, win a playoff game while they have a laundry list of injuries with an all-pro team on the injured list. Let me remind people of that. We leave him off the list. We leave, of course, you guys know I'm going to say it, Bo Nix, who had just as good of a season as Caleb Williams, also won a playoff game, also in dramatic fashion as well against best in the league and number one quarterback according to NFL executives. So I just think that there was a strong lack of consistency with this list. Jaden Daniels had the best rookie season of all time. He went to the NFC Championship in his rookie season. He was the main reason why that happened. And now suddenly we're just good. We're good off him. We can give breaks to other quarterbacks, but we're not going to give a break to Jaden Daniels.
7?
Caleb was 10.
10? A lot of guys could be at 10.
People are quick to put Caleb up because they see it, and you see the superhero.
And I didn't even mention Trevor Lawrence, who's a top 5 MVP candidate.
Jordan Love is, because it does say in the article who's the best quarterback right now. Jordan Love is definitely a better quarterback right now.
Okay, and I didn't. Okay, that's obvious. And you guys mentioned Jordan. That's another obvious one. He might clear Caleb Williams right now.
He's the best in the division.
He's better. I think Trevor Lawrence, the way he ended the second half of last year, is probably a better quarterback right now than Caleb. Caleb, down consistency is still very shaky. Like I feel like the splash plays are cool and all, and as he progresses and as he matures in the NFL, you're hoping it's gonna be more consistent. But you just have to get those consistent plays. Like even if you take away some of the splash, further some consistency, if you could take away the DJ Moore interception, you know what I mean? Part of that comes with the fading back 40 yards in the back of the end zone to tie it in the first place. But if you could just rein some of that in, I feel like you need to have that. Because what other quarterback right now in the top 9, or really in the top 9, is a splashy quarterback? They make big plays, but they make all of these mistakes or have these turnovers or have these, negative plays.
Can I argue there's a few of them? I'd argue Josh. I'd argue Stafford.
Well, in the regular season, they take care of the ball. Stafford just last year did.
The year that Stafford was Super Bowl champion, he led the league in interceptions.
But not last year.
But what other quarterback in the top 10 is completed less than 60% of their passes?
That's
no one.
That's still something that Caleb Williams struggles with. And his high ranking to me is about people wanting to be a year early rather than a year late. Because Caleb Williams, his second year in the system with Ben Johnson, he can have an MVP-like season. Especially with the Bears having so many regression indicators, they need him to take another leap to cancel out the turnover variance, to cancel out the one win game variance. They need him to take that leap, and Caleb is capable of doing it. But I think people are ranking him based off that because in the regular season, I would say he had a good regular season. I don't think he had an elite one or a great one. He wasn't an MVP candidate like Drake May by no means in the regular season, even though he was one of the more clutch quarterbacks in the regular season. And then in the playoffs as a whole, like forget about just the blanket statement of, he won a playoff game. He did that. Against the Packers for 3 quarters, he was not good. Yeah. And then against the Rams, he threw the game-losing interception. He had more turnovers than touchdowns in the playoffs as a whole. He didn't have a great playoff run. It wasn't Jaden Daniels asking what we saw in his rookie season. It was good. And if you're good in the regular season and good in the playoffs, I don't think that makes you a top 10 quarterback. Sam Darnold had a more complete season than Caleb Williams. And that's another quarterback that right now, in this day, Sam Darnold is better than Caleb Williams. He just was in Minnesota and he was an MVP candidate. And then his season ended rough and people doubted him. He goes to Seattle with a worse offensive supporting cast and outduels Matthew Stafford in the NFC Championship game. And then the Seahawks win a Super Bowl. Like Sam Darnold to me had a more complete season start to finish.
With context, still, I don't know. Sam Darnold's playoff run was okay.
He had a great game.
It was okay. I don't think he was that great in the Super Bowl. I think he outdueled Matthew Stafford against one of the worst secondaries in the league. Credit to him, he won the game.
One of the best defensive fronts.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say this to piggyback off what you're saying. League executives don't want to be a year late. They want to be a year early. And and I'll equate it to this. When Victor Wembanyama was asserting himself to be one of the next faces of the league, he actually was showing you real life results of why he could be the best in the league. In year 2 against the Knicks in the Garden, one of the best performances on Christmas Day. He could shoot the basketball, one of the best defenders, arguably the best defender at that point in time. He had tape to show you and results that I have a seat at this table. I am this good this early on. Caleb has not shown that same equivalent. And I use the two because you have a generational prospect in Victor Wembanyama and the next Patrick Mahomes in Caleb Williams. And yes, he does have the tools, but he has not put it all together. He hasn't shown you a moment similar to a Victor Wembanyama on Christmas Day in year 2. He had a great fourth quarter against the Green Bay Packers. I'd argue because of that fourth quarter, I'd say he had a good game because it doesn't matter how you start, it's about how you finish. And I think he ended the game incredibly. He didn't play good against the Rams. He had a great moment, a great pass.
My question is, for both of y'all, is what do the league executives get out of being a year early?
Saying like, look, last year I had him at number 8. You know what I mean? I saw this coming.
I don't see the point in them just. I feel like this is just how they feel. Like they just see it from a different perspective. Like I don't see the point in them just saying, "Oh, we saw it like next year. Oh, we saw Caleb being better than these guys last year." Like I don't see the Bills league executive be like, "Oh, I saw Caleb being better than this guy."
It's a bad look for Caleb to go off this season, and you had Brock Purdy over him, or you had Trevor Lawrence over him.
I mean, yeah, but
potential is tantalizing. It's the reason why, even though a player hasn't accomplished as much as somebody else, people will take said player because he's more talented. Like for example, Victor Wembanyama, like he didn't accomplish as much as like Shea or Jokic, but people are taking him over these guys because they know what he can be. So I think that's the same thing with Caleb.
But who like Caleb? I get the comparison, but Caleb ain't getting put over those guys.
That's what I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying? He's not getting put over the Lamars. Like with all due respect, he's getting put over great quarterbacks, but these are also guys who haven't accomplished a ton either. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going back to year 2. Remember when ESPN put out their top 100 and they had Victor at 11?
Yeah.
That was after he only played 30 games in year 2.
Right. But he was also great.
Exactly
Caleb
my point.
Was not close to it.
Exactly my point. But people were heated.
I'm with you with that.
That they put him 11.
But he wasn't like, I would feel you more if Caleb was getting put over any of the demons in the front.
All right, that's fine.
He's not. You know what I'm saying? He's getting put over.
Like number 3, Colin.
Yeah, like he was getting put over Lamar, Josh. I get it.
I would argue it is bad that he was over Jordan Love.
I think I agree with you. I think Jordan Love is top 10 quarterback.
I would argue after last season. After last season, I'd argue it is bad that he is over Trevor Lawrence.
But what's the last thing that people have seen? Jordan Love, and whether it's his fault or not, whether it's his fault
Jordan
or
Love
not.
Played well in the Bears.
No,
game,
I'm
though.
with you, but Green Bay just choked a 20-point lead to Chicago,
Caleb
their rivals
choked to the
again.
Rams.
You know what I'm saying?
Caleb had the game. They had the ball first.
Yeah, but you're not going to put Caleb over Stafford.
Interception
I'm not saying nobody's saying to put him over Stafford, but as of right now, where we stand, just being honest and transparent, We know the potential.
Yeah.
He's not better than Love. He's
I
not
agree.
better than Lawrence. And he's not 9 spots better than Bo Nix.
Listen,
Well,
by October of this season, we could have a whole different conversation about
Well,
Caleb.
ultimately,
that.
like if the playoffs and the record is what people go by, and that's why Caleb is over Jordan Love, then that's fine. You can have that opinion, but then there's no way he's better than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has had the individual and the team accomplishments. He's been a Pro Bowler the last 2 seasons. He was just responsible for the Offensive Player of the Year in JSN and feeding him the ball all season long. On one of the more low volume passing offenses in the league, JSN was still able to rack up 1,800 yards. He flourished in Minnesota, and then he goes to Seattle, and they win, and they're a top 10 offense with him at the helm, and the Seahawks win. If we go by playoffs, if we go by regular season, over the last 2 seasons, it hasn't been close between him and Caleb. So if we go by individual or team accomplishments, then Sam Darnold has accomplished that. He has been a Pro Bowler in the last 2 seasons. He has won a
Pro
Super
Bowl
Bowl.
is really a big thing. A Pro Bowl.
Well, he has been without a doubt.
Pro Bowl's kind of funny, but he's been really good.
Yes, I'm with you. I'm
he
with
has
you.
been without a doubt the last 2
Yes.
seasons a top 3 quarterback in the NFC in both seasons.
Okay.
And over the last 2 seasons, he's top 5 in passing yards, top
Mm-hmm.
5 in passer rating, and top 5 in passing touchdowns. So Sam Darnold statistically has all the numbers to back up him being at the very least a top 10 quarterback.
Yeah.
See over Jordan Love then?
No, I wouldn't have on Jordan Love.
But I mean, the team success, the individual success,
For
the
sure.
numbers you just mentioned.
I don't think that his numbers have been better than Jordan Love. Like
no, not as advanced numbers.
No.
Passing yard, like raw passing.
raw
totals,
numbers
yeah.
for sure, it has been. But Jordan Love, the sack avoidance, the lack of turnovers, the ability to play with any supporting cast out there, not having
Sam
elite
certainly gets
weapons.
the bump though that he does in Minnesota. The year he leaves, JJ, the whole offense goes to shit. You go to Seattle, we were not expecting this offense to look like the way it was. Clint Kubiak, after this year, goes and gets a head coaching job. Maybe it's closer than we think, man. And I like Jordan Love. It's just Sam Darnold's just one of those guys.
He was underwhelming in the
Well, like
playoffs.
it can
He
be.
was, except the Rams game.
What do you
was good.
mean? He played 3 games, and against the Niners, they didn't even need him to really play.
They didn't.
They dominated.
Sounds like Jalen Hurts.
Against the Rams, he was elite.
He was elite against
What
the
else?
worst secondary in the game.
What else?
They were a top 10
What
defense
else?
in the league.
Their secondary
what
was
else?
the worst.
What of the game?
Super Bowl?
And in the Super Bowl,
He was mid.
okay.
He was
They
mid.
didn't need
He was
him
okay.
either,
Is he a
for being
playoff
honest.
performer?
I think he was good in the playoffs this past run.
was
No,
fine.
the Rams game. I'm not here to. I'm not here to nitpick.
in the most important game, and that
His
was a game,
resume sounds a lot like Hurts.
and that was a game that
Wow.
in against the Rams, people thought
Hurts
that
actually showed
That's
out.
way more. Yeah, but
against the Rams, people thought that he would have multiple turnovers, he would blow the game. The narrative all year was that Sam Darnold was going to blow it when it mattered, and then now we're minimizing the Rams as not a worthy opponent. And
No,
it's
the
really
secondary.
not that impressive that he dominated.
Whoa.
the
No,
Rams all the
you
way.
said outdueled Matthew Stafford.
He did. Matthew Stafford was awful on
Matthew
third down.
Stafford's going up against the best
He was
defense
2
in the
for
game.
11 on third down.
It's
Come on.
disingenuous.
The Rams were a top 10 defense.
The level of defenses
For
were
sure. The
tiers
That's
tiers
all I'm
apart.
saying.
And their
That's
scheme
like
all I'm
multiple
saying.
tiers
for
apart.
sure. But the Rams also have a better offensive supporting cast. They have a better offensive line.
yes,
they
yes,
have
yes,
better
for sure.
receiving
Definitely.
weapons. They have a
Definitely.
better running back tandem.
Definitely.
And they
No
they also
argument.
have a better play caller in McVay.
Sure.
that's fair.
They're just going. It's a historic offense and historic defense. I'm being honest.
Like that game, we knew it too. That game in the playoffs, we said that's a Super Bowl.
We
Whoever
did.
wins that game is pretty much going to win it all.
Definitely.
And it was a fucking toss-up game. We're acting like the Seattle went out here and blew them out by 21.
It was, and Darnold was amazing. He
Yeah,
was
but
near
Stafford
perfect
was
in
in
that
that game. Like he was going
I
up
never
against the
said
best defense
he
in the league.
wasn't.
No, he just
good.
said he
I just said
outdueled,
Darnold
and
outdueled
I
him.
just not moved by
It's
that
just
statement.
Matt Stafford. He wasn't good on third down, and all of a sudden means he had a bad fucking game.
Yeah, 2 for 11 on third down is inexcusable.
Against the
But Sam
best
Darnold was
defense in the
perfect.
game.
No,
Sam
you had-
Darnold was
I-
perfect.
Sam
on
Darnold
down-
was
on-
perfect.
on
I
those pressure
agree,
downs.
but using context, the level of defense that he was going up against is drastically different.
And the level of supporting cast Sam Darnold had is drastically
I
different.
mean, you have
to
JSN,
Stafford.
the offensive player of the year. You had Ken Walker, Super Bowl MVP.
He had more. He had enough.
Like he's
He had
good,
enough.
and he had Clint Kubiak. He's good.
That's not McVay. That's not Devontae and Puka.
Okay, but also it does not go without Stafford.
And it's not the offensive line. We saw with the Vikings, you can have those elite weapons, but if the offensive line collapses, that defensive line was the same defensive line
The Rams
that
had
made
Todd
Darnold collapse the year
Gurley.
before.
They had Cooper Kupp, Bobby Trees, Brandon Cooks with Jared Goff, and they scored 3 points against the Patriots. Like you had all this talent, but the quarterback makes the difference. I get you. I understand.
McVay is so much better from that time
and
period.
he still had McVay too,
And
which
also,
is a fact.
You mentioned Robert Woods, man. This is Puka and Devontae.
Brandon Cooks, Cooper Kupp, who ended up the year after going ahead and setting the record for, not setting a record, excuse me, but just having the best wide receiver
The
season ever.
difference is that McVay evolved. He got shut down, and then he went in the
definitely
last.
got a better
He said,
quarterback.
I have to move on from this guy
He
because
got
I
a better
need the real
quarterback.
Like,
right.
he also evolved his entire scheme. Like
Yeah, for
everything
sure.
about his scheme,
Two
he
things can
evolved.
be true.
It's
That's,
true.
that's why Darnold, to me, like, if we talk about numbers and accomplishments, I think he's top 10. Like, I think he's over Jared Goff. Like, Jared Goff, I think he's over Jared
Oh,
Goff.
how?
Is he over Herbert? Dak?
The accomplishments matter.
The Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean,
Don't be yelled at the team accomplishment
It
all
is.
the time.
Herbert, Dak,
not
Sam.
me.
Rank those
Really?
three.
depending on who it is.
It's not like he played great all three
It's
games.
Herbert, Dak, Sam.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Herbert, Dak, Sam. So
Oh,
Sam's,
God, there
Sam's
is.
10th for you.
Please.
What?
Herbert, bro, respectfully, Darnold's with these three, with these two.
No, that's
never
what I'm
said he's
asking. I
with
feel like
those
they're
three.
like back top 10.
Are they with these two? Is he
No,
with
he's
these two?
not.
Okay.
It's
thank
Herbert,
you.
Dak, Sam.
So he's
That's how I
probably,
rank
he
it.
might be right outside. He might be like 11.
No, yeah, I think Sam Darnold is 9 or 10. I think that's where you could put him. I don't think that he's in like within the top 8.
I feel like our math is.
You know,
No, that's
I don't know,
because the
too.
8 that are here
Oh,
are
brother.
better than Sam. The 8 that are here are better than him.
No, I said 9 or 10. I mean, the last two was Goff and Caleb. No.
Yeah, but they had Goff and non-Caleb 10.
Yeah. So for me,
So you would have Love and Sam.
I would have Jordan Love all the way. at
Jaden
number
Daniels.
6.
Jen Daniels.
I would have Jordan Love all the way at 6, and I have Sam Darnold at the 10.
Because I was gonna say, because you still have Jaden Daniels
Yeah, I like Jaden.
over Sam. You like Sam Darnold more.
Yeah, Jaden is probably right behind him, like at 11
And
or
what
12.
about Caleb?
Caleb is near that tier. Yeah, I'll probably have number 12.
Why is Jaden's fall off this drastic?
Who's at 11?
Jaden.
How was Caleb?
It's interesting because 11, 12, 13, I think it's between like Lawrence, Jaden, Caleb.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
crazy,
the
bro.
third-year quarterbacks.
Where's Bo Nix?
Well, Bo Nix is like 6.
Trevor?
Why is Caleb there and Bo Nix not?
Well, Caleb is better than.
Why
Bo
are we
Nix.
ignoring a
Why?
3-time All-Pro?
Huh?
Jared Goff.
The
Like,
3-time All-Pro.
Pro Bowler?
Pro
No, he's
Bowler?
a 3. No, he's made All-Pro 3 times.
I'm looking it
Nah, I
up.
don't think so.
Well,
I'm
probably
looking
won
it
in
up.
2017, his second year.
Did he really?
Bro, I'm not tweaking.
Oh, shit. 3-time All-Pro.
Yeah, he's made 3-time All-Pro. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. I'm not tweaking. What are we doing here?
Yeah, no. Fucking mid.
It can't be. 4 bands, 4 years in a row.
Jared Goff is always going to be one of the best pocket passers in the league, but his lack of mobility and playmaking ability is what drops him and drops.
I ain't
his
trying to hear
ceiling.
that shit.
Sam Darnold can extend plays and make throws down the field on the move. Jared Goff can't. That's what's holding Jared Goff.
What
back.
about?
I think you might have read something else.
Yeah, bro, he's not.
Well, fuck Pro Football
Wait,
Reference.
what were you, let me see what you're looking at, though. Because it
Fucking-
did say AP.
It did, right? I'm not tweaking. Click it. Why'd you zoom out?
Are
Look
you
at
on,
glasses.
you're on Amon Ross St. Brown. That's why I clicked out.
I'm
Real
so
demon.
high.
Real demon.
I'm so high.
Real pro. So let's respect no pro.
Taking that back. Taking that back. I'm
You said,
so
why'd
high.
you click out? I was like, hold up.
Yeah,
Bro. Something
super
happened
high.
here.
Super high.
Pro Football Reference is right. Just Amon Ra.
Wrong person. But Caleb didn't have a better year than Jared Goff.
No. But I'd rather
No.
Caleb as
No.
the quarterback than
I
Goff.
agree.
You can't. No, but then you'd rather Caleb over Sam Darnold.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
Why not?
I wouldn't.
That logic sucks.
How?
Why? Because of Goff?
I feel like it's just now. At one point it's a numbers thing, and then another point it's no, it's just who I like.
I think Jared Goff just has limitations that
They
Sam
all
probably
do.
doesn't have.
Sam's
more mobile.
Well,
I
Sam
trust him more.
Darnold-
I trust him more outside. I trust him more in the cold.
Why?
It's all true.
Sam
Depends,
Darnold
yeah.
over the last
Where's
2
it?
years has more big time throws.
Fair.
He's been
He's
top
not
5 in
Jared
big time
Goff.
throws.
Jared
in the
Goff's
last
not a
2
big time
years.
thrower. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say that.
He has the weapons to be that though. He has Amon Ra, Jameson.
Sam Darnold
Williams
has
before
had
him,
the weapons over the last 2 years when he's actually been good,
and he's played well.
and so has Jared Goff.
He was an MVP candidate with the Vikings.
I can't say Jared Goff was that. I can't say that.
Like Jared Goff to me, I think is very comfortably like
I'm
the
not gonna
14,
argue for
15
Jared
best
Goff, bro.
quarterback.
No.
How? Okay, so
He's been in better situations the last 2 years, I would argue.
So wait, but here's the thing. The argument for Sam, and I'm just attacking arguments. The logic for Sam Darnold over Caleb was over his last 2 seasons, correct? That's what he said. So if that's the case, why is Jared Goff not getting the same benefit when over the last 2 years, he's been comfortably better than Caleb Williams?
Because over the last 2 years in that last year, I saw him turn the ball over.
Last
4 or
year,
5
you
times.
saw Sam Darnold do that same thing in a playoff game.
He wasn't as bad as Goff against the
But he
Commanders.
was terrible.
And also,
He was awful.
The Commanders were one of the worst defenses in the football.
You got me there.
And Goff completely sold against one of the worst defenses.
You
in
got me
football.
there.
Sam and the Vikings got
No, he was
blitzed
awful.
against the Rams.
But he
He was
wasn't as
awful.
bad as Goff against the Commanders.
Or
I
how
mean,
about
we're
how
comparing
bad Sam
shit
was
to
against
ass.
Lions in
Darnold-
Week 18?
Darnold against
Which
the
was
He went
basically a
back-to-back
playoff
doodle
game.
sessions.
Which
Like,
was
he was-
basically a playoff game.
against the Rams, Darnold just really didn't have a chance. That defensive line was just.
What about Week 18 versus the Lions?
Yeah, he was bad in that game. He's allowed to have a bad game out of 17. You know, like he's allowed to do that. And the back half of the year when he lost Christian Darrisaw last season, he was still statistically a top 10 quarterback. And that was without his left tackle and the pressure rates being one of the highest in the NFL. Sam Darnold managed that. And yeah, the final game of the season against the Lions, he didn't play well. The Vikings went 14-3. Like, are we really going to criticize him for losing a Week 18 game when he won 14 games for the Vikings?
Yes.
He won
What
14
are
I
you
think he
living in
deserves
this?
some criticism.
You're
for that. I
living
don't
in
think
this.
he was
This.
well past
Can
it.
you not say all of that for Jared Goff?
You could do that.
Like that's why you see what I'm saying.
You
I'm
could.
confused at the
Yeah,
logic.
but then Sam Darnold redeemed himself this past season by winning a Super Bowl.
Fair.
He did, but he was mid in this.
He was
But they didn't really
great
need him,
against
to be
the
fair.
in the most important game of the
The,
season.
Not
the
even
Rams game
Just
kind of
sound-
stamps him low key.
I mean, that secondary is sweet.
I get it, but still, he has to go out there and do
So
it.
why doesn't
They
the Super
went
Bowl
out
stamp
there and
Jalen Hurts?
got 3 new
What do you mean?
Why doesn't the Super Bowl
DBs?
performances stamp Jalen Hurts?
Like for today in 2026?
Based off certain people's comments on prior why doesn't it stamp him?
Well, I don't think Jalen Hurts. I think he just has way more limitations than all these quarterbacks.
So you're just saying you just don't think the Rams game is impressive.
No, I'm not saying
it's
that at
awesome.
all. I'm not saying
You
that
needed
at all.
him, defense or
Of
not.
course,
He
of
had to go
course,
out
he
there and do what he
performed.
did.
Well, your tone seems like
No,
you're
it's
disregarding.
because you said he outdueled Matthew Stafford.
He did. He
and I'm
played
just using
better than him.
context.
He played
Wow.
better than him.
Wow.
In that game.
Wow.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Let me refresh my mind what
Wow.
those numbers were looking like.
No,
Let's just
his statistics
box
are
score
insane.
watch.
You're insane for that statement.
I don't think I am.
Not using
I think
context is
Sam Darnold was
something
that
I wouldn't
good.
expect from you.
No, Darnold was just that good.
Like you're like king context, so I'm shocked.
The context is Matthew Stafford also has the best offensive supporting cast in football.
But he also is the leader,
Yes, he is the leader. But he also has so much more talent at his
and
disposal.
he also did it with a banged up Devontae Adams.
Okay. They
They're
rested
basically
him for like
identical, man.
most of the season.
Not
Yeah,
really.
the back half of the season, they definitely rested him so he'd be good for the
I mean,
playoffs.
he got hurt right before the playoffs started.
They rested him for like a good 3 weeks, dude.
He got hurt right before the playoffs started.
Yeah, and they rested him so he could be good for that moment.
He wasn't though.
Okay.
Puka Nacua was Puka
So
Nacua.
what were the numbers?
The numbers are identical. I mean, they both had a 128 passer rating.
Jesus Christ.
Darnold 346, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Stafford 374, 3 touchdowns, no picks.
So just
Against
The
Seattle.
separator
third down,
It's
third down stats,
Against
third down.
Seattle.
Look at
What-
the third down
what are you
numbers.
saying?
Third down, the Rams were 1 for 8. Seattle was 7 for 13. Yards per play, the Rams were 8.3. The Seattle was 6.1. It's a little bit more explosive.
Sounds like they both had great games, man.
100%.
I mean, McVay has had Mike McDonald's number. Dating back to when McDonald's been on the Ravens, one of the highest scoring games that the defense let up was against McVay. You know, that's always a great matchup. Like, you know, obviously the players are a big part of the success, but McVay also just knows how to play against McDonald. Those two are very familiar with one another. But no, like, I think the last two in the top 10, that's the only thing I really have a problem with. I have a problem with Josh Allen being number one as well. Just because in the wild card, when you look at Josh Allen in the wild card, he's 6-1, 340 yards per game, 16 touchdowns to 2 picks, 6 fumbles, 113.9 passer rating. In the other rounds outside the wild card, 2 for 6, 287.6 yards, so still a lot of yardage, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 9 fumbles, a 91.6 passer rating.
I mean, those stats are still good. He just loses.
Yeah, but it's 9 fumbles. So it's 4
Fumbles are a big
interceptions, 9 fumbles. We're talking about 13, not turnovers, because these are just fumbles in general.
I was going to say, didn't lose the ball. I mean, didn't
Can't
turn
have
the
a
ball
picture.
over. Technically,
But
he
I-
just fumbled the
Can't have
ball.
But it does show that Josh Allen in those moments after the first round could be a little bit reckless. Like, even if the fumbles don't end up in turnovers, he's putting the ball in harm's way.
To be fair, he's also playing better comp, naturally,
And it's a 91 passer rating.
which is
It's
good.
underwhelming.
91 bad now?
Compared
I think
to
for Josh, a little
the other
underwhelming.
numbers, yeah.
I mean, he's
think
still
it's a little
13-4.
Yeah, no. Listen, I think Josh is.
And
still
if you
going
clean up,
fine.
if you tell me specifically how many of
Turnovers.
those fumbles he lost, then we can make the
I'll be
number
honest,
13.
Probably
to-
like 6 of them his fault.
I probably believe you, especially that he lost 2 in this most recent one. So that's 2 of the 9 that we're like extremely sure of that were definitely his fault.
Yeah, like I just think
Are you
after
just calling
this
him
year,
a playoff dropper?
no, I don't think he's a playoff dropper.
I just think that I'm guessing what he's insinuating is that as the rounds go on, he's not round 1 Josh.
So is he Damian Lillard?
no, to be number 1, to be the best quarterback in football, I feel like you at least once in your career have to finish a job. That's it.
for sure.
So
like,
Stafford should be one after this year, personally.
I mean,
If you want to put yourself last season, I don't hate it.
was Josh one last year though? I feel like he was one last year,
he
right?
was one last
Yeah.
year.
By the way,
Listen, if Mahomes make the playoffs, he's won.
You
Huh?
lied. You used a different game.
No. I was just looking at their advanced numbers. Sam had a higher total EPA. He also had a higher completion percent over expectation, but Stafford had a 8 out of 12.6 for Sam, 8.4. So, a little safer.
Shout out to Sam. They thought he couldn't be safe. They thought he was the turnover machine.
Well,
He was
prior
being
to that,
safe.
it was a little scary.
Hey, what do you have?
Well, I guess
20?
it's the-
Was it
for
20
the
or
regular
I'm
season game.
throwing an insane number out there?
What?
20 picks? How many picks do you have last year?
Who?
Sam,
I'm asking.
12
Yeah, 20 seems
off the top of my head.
20 seemed crazy.
20 seems a lot. 20 something. Fucking James.
I think it was 20,
14.
14. Was it 26 or 14?
24 and 14.
He had a decent season. No, yeah.
25 and 14.
I think number 1 should have been different, but
You
Joe
had
Burrow still.
Mahomes one or Stafford?
I mean, I would have Mahomes 1.
Okay.
That's because I just think everything equal. Mahomes.
But what
is
if
number
you took out your love and attraction to him?
1. I think then Stafford's number 1.
Okay.
I think
That's all I need to hear.
he wasn't he was amazing against the Seahawks. Nobody's saying he wasn't. It's just
Stafford was on some other
7
shit
for
last year.
13 and third downs. You gotta have it.
I don't know. I don't know how many of those were rushing or
Against
you know what I mean, how
Aquila
much actually
Witherspoon,
fucking Sam.
Right?
Cam Curl, I think.
Yeah. Say the same thing we talk about Bryce Young
I agree.
because that's the only game
My
we used
guy
to
is
prop
number
him
one.
up.
I mean, it's the only one I have.
Alright.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah, it is. But I'm just
Some guys
saying,
don't get it.
I know.
if it ain't that
My team
impressive for
won.
Sam, it ain't that
Imagine.
impressive for Bryce.
Okay.
like
That's
the fucking
valid.
Reagan administration at this point.
What
That
happened?
you like 2 years ago.
I'm
About
just
Josh?
bullshitting with him. No, about the Eagles Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
He's
Reagan
upset he might
administration.
never see one ever.
I really might.
You might never see one in your life.
There's a real.
I'm gonna be honest,
There's a
that could
chance
be-
you see your kids graduate before you see the Jets win a ring.
That's terrible to hear, bro.
Yeah, man.
Ugh.
That's gonna suck.
Why did you say it like that?
What?
You see your kids graduate? That was too
Does
real.
he attack Josh and whispers?
So who cares? Josh is not even your 1, bro.
What do you mean?
Like the
Think
Eagles are
is.
your 1.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Like
He's
your
my
1.
favorite player.
No, I understand that, but your 1 is the Eagles. Where your priorities lies, the Eagles.
I don't get it.
What's
I don't
not to
give a
get?
He's attacking Josh. I attack him as a man.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Defend him. You can't. He's a Jets fan.
Fucking go. I love Bo Nix too.
No, you don't. As a matter of fact, you should let me attack him with
He's
the way
getting
he
a
talks
pass right
about
now,
it.
bro.
So, do any of you think that Bo Nix deserves a conversation in the top 10?
No.
Not right now.
I agree so long as you believe Caleb doesn't. If you believe that, then I'm fine.
Caleb wouldn't be in my top 10.
Agreed.
No,
you think
he can't start my
Caleb-
top 10.
Is more of a top 10 quarterback than Bo Nix? Would you
Probably
agree
no.
with that?
They're probably in the
Um,
same area.
Yeah.
I feel like
Caleb's
you
better.
want us to get rude.
No, I'm just asking.
No,
I
I
don't know.
really,
I don't
I don't feel.
I don't
no.
think either of them have a real argument just yet. I think Caleb
No, fine.
has a splashy plays, but he's not, like I said, consistent down and down. Bo is consistent in the sense that he'll have like 8 good weeks, but then he'll also have 8 bad weeks. It's just he's more 50-50 split, where his games I feel like more come together, while Caleb's are more down to down.
Caleb's claim to fame is butt fucking Jordan Love in the second half every time they play.
I'm not gonna lie, that's correct. That being said,
Them moves
Well,
nobody.
it's been-
it's
once.
been 2
Twice.
times.
It's Malik
He got
Willis.
hurt. He got hurt.
Okay, fair.
2 seasons in a row, Bo Nix has started slow, ended hot. Last year, post bye, incredible. Like it was the cleanest football he looked. He looked like one of the most polished quarterbacks to end the season, and then topped it off with an incredible performance against the Buffalo
Yeah, yeah.
Bills.
We're
It
getting to
looked better.
payday for Bo Nix soon. After this, year
Deserved.
3.
Pay the man.
Do you feel like the same argument you use against the Rams secondary, you could use against Buffalo
Well,
secondary.
technically speaking, they're the number one passing defense.
We know that's like
That is
the
definitely
fakest
not
stat
true.
That's
ever.
not true.
Yeah.
But Bo Nix, it was weird because I think he was better than what the numbers suggested last year, at least in the second half. In the first half of the season, he was awful.
mid.
He was awful. Just the numbers and just
The one
watching,
game I
he
will
was
say
awful.
that people are unfair about is the Raiders game.
You gotta stop.
I'm just honest.
You?
I'm consistent.
That's like his worst game ever.
I
It's
the
just
worst
said
game
he was
ever.
underwhelming.
Yo, we were watching that shit here. It was so bad.
It was crazy wins on the road.
I feel you.
Excuse me. Short week,
Yes.
rivalry week against the Raiders.
It was just such a bad
They
It
game.
always
was,
play
it was
us
the same
tough.
day they delayed GTA, I remember. It's a
It was
bad
just-
day.
But yeah, you
Had to
wouldn't
watch
know
Geno
that.
Smith versus fucking Bo Nix.
Bo Nix's numbers this past season, his sophomore season, they were actually worse than his rookie season.
Mhm.
The passer rating was worse in his second year. He led the NFL in attempts this past year, and he didn't finish top 5 in passing yards. He had one of the lowest ADOTs in the NFL.
Bo Nix is going to be so interesting. If, assuming Denver, which I'm sure they will,
Now,
going to
his-
extend him,
Statistics are worse.
what he gets paid.
He also was second in drops.
Okay.
Number 1, Trevor. Number 3, Caleb Williams.
Fire.
Trevor,
They-
I feel like, has had that a couple
Do
years.
you want to know what I believe between the three of them they share? One, I do believe the Broncos receivers can't catch
Mhm.
sometimes. I think Troy Franklin is going to see a very significant difference in usage this upcoming season. Obviously Waddle, but I think will favor more Pat Bryant. Truthfully, Marvin Mims, he should be utilized a lot more than he was last year. I think we're trying to protect his body. The three of them throw the ball too hard in situations that they shouldn't.
I agree with that.
And that is what leads to an overwhelming amount of drops. Trevor has a cannon. Bo Nix has a cannon. Obviously, Caleb Williams has a crazy arm. They need more touch on their ball. I do believe that the three do have guys that can't catch, but I do believe the main reason outside of hands is they throw the ball too hard.
Eric Ebron and Megatron said the same thing about Staffy.
Yeah.
He threw that shit too hard.
Well,
Looking at their
Calvin
fingers.
Johnson's fingers are like fucked forever because of
Yeah.
Stafford.
Stafford was slinging that bitch.
Yeah, the way Stafford threw the ball was so hard that over time, Calvin Johnson's fingers are like have just become deformed. They're just not in the same
Isn't that
place.
crazy to think about?
It's probably why he retired.
No, he retired because he said that he couldn't wake up in the morning and get out of bed.
I respect that. Bro was
It's
over
physical.
it. He was
That's
over
crazy,
it.
dude.
Sport. I mean, dude, it's like getting into a car crash. But before we pivot to the NFC East preview, we talked a lot about these third-year quarterbacks, and I feel like they're a big topic of intrigue because every single one of the quarterbacks that is relevant has certain arguments for them. Caleb leading the Bears to the playoffs. Drake May finishing second in MVP. Jaden Daniels having the most complete season so far of all of them with the regular season and the playoffs. And then Bo Nix with his fourth quarter heroics and winning a playoff game against the Bills and going to the AFC Championship game. Which one of the four quarterbacks of Drake May, Caleb, Bo Nix, and then Jaden Daniels do you think will be viewed as an elite quarterback first? A top 5 quarterback.
I mean, Drake May just finished second in MVP voting. He was one vote away from being considered elite forever.
But the playoffs and him not performing in the playoffs is a big reason why
I'm
he
gonna say
wouldn't be in that team.
I'm gonna say for me personally, just going into this upcoming season, I'm gonna say none of them. Unless Stafford completely falls off. I think Joe Burrow, I think Lamar, I think Stafford, Josh, Mahomes are pretty easily the top 5 guys in the game. I think for Jaden, team's just not good. For Drake, I do think the playoff thing is gonna haunt him until they go back, and then he has to just play really well. Because in the regular season last year, he showed he can rack it up, but their schedule is going to be a little bit more tougher this year, so we'll see how that goes. As for Caleb, it's just a down and down consistency. He has the splash plays, he has the moments, he has the clutch gene. It's just about on a consistent basis, can you put it all together? And then Bo Nix, I feel like for him,
His ceiling's high this year.
yeah, I think it is. And plus, you guys would like with Denver, being that the schedule is going to be super, super tough, he'll have an opportunity to go up against these quarterbacks and really like show out. Like you saw in the playoff game when he played Buffalo, he can go band for band with Josh.
One band for band with Jordan Love too.
That's not that hard, but
Oh, wow.
I will say like just in the playoffs against Buffalo, he showed that he can rise to the occasion. So now it's just, can you do it? Like we talked about earlier, he started the year off poor, finished off strong. We don't want to see that. Like we want to see a little bit more consistency throughout the year. But I think for me, like unless Stafford completely falls off and any of the other guys, Lamar gets hurt, Joe Burrow gets hurt, we've seen these guys at their best kind of put up some insane numbers and be kind of superheroes. So I'm gonna say nobody for right now.
I do think that there's two guys that have an opportunity better than the others. I think that with the addition of A.J. Brown, Elijah Vera Tucker, if he can stay healthy, you shore up that offensive line. Will Campbell is healthy. That was the big reason why, one of the big reasons why Drake May struggled. It was obvious to me Will Campbell was not the same player he was earlier in the season. You could argue he was going up against stronger competition. Fair. But I also think that his knee was messed up and he was just getting bull rushed and there was nothing he could do. He was getting ragdolled. Already a guy that has big dude, but for his position, the size is an issue. He is big on technique. He also wasn't able to utilize that to his maximum in that playoff run, and he got destroyed. Drake May now gets a huge upgrade in A.J. Brown, hopefully a healthy Will Campbell, and of course, Elijah Vera Tucker. The ceiling for him is high. I think especially after the last regular season, 1 vote away from an MVP, my answer would be Drake May is in that position, but I also would go 1B, Bo Nix. We get Jalen Waddle. Injury is definitely the same thing for him. He stays healthy on this team with Sean Payton, with this offensive line that we have. Injuries are definitely something that may be a sleeping factor for the Broncos, given the fact that J.K. Dobbins is going to be our primary back. We see how great he is when he's healthy. You can't rely on him to be healthy for a full season. And then Jalen Waddle, he is available, but he's going to play through injury, and we've seen that injuries do take a toll on his ultimate game and the ultimate result. Bo Nix has already showed you with a limited supporting cast outside of an amazing offensive line and great play caller that he's still able to get the job done. Now you give him Jalen Waddle, a guy that's going to take the top off of defense, really utilize Bo Nix's strength, which is his arm and that deep ball. I do believe that these two can separate themselves. And that's not to leave Caleb out of this. I think Caleb with Luther Burden, with Colston Loveland going into year 2, another year under Ben Johnson, I think they're all primed to these three are primed to have breakout seasons. Caleb obviously being a part of that because they have continuity. I would argue that they do have a strong chance to be great too. It's just the situation for Jaden Daniels is just so brutal at this point that I just can't trust Washington to put him in position to succeed. His rookie season was essentially him putting the backpack on and saying, let's go. And then Terry McLaurin getting injured last year also did not help that cause whatsoever. I have my concerns about the organization, which could lead to the downfall of Jaden Daniels in Washington. He's still an amazing talent. You could argue the best of the 4. But given the situation that they're in, I just find myself having the least confidence in them. The Bears, they should be great. They should be a great team, especially if you see a more refined Caleb Williams, a quarterback with a lot more touch going into year 3. But I think you get such a weapons boost in A.J. Brown. From Stephon Diggs, who was still a good player last year, to A.J. Brown, and from having Cortland Sutton and Troy Franklin as your 1 and 2 to Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton now dropping to your number 2 wide receiver. I just feel like there's a difference there.
Bo Nix is last to me with all due respect. It's nothing about Bo and what he could put up. When you're talking about top 5, you have to have an elite trait. And I don't know what Bo's elite trait's going to be.
His arm.
I think he has a great arm. I don't think he has an elite arm.
What throw can he hit?
I think there's a difference between having an elite arm and being able to make every throw. You know what I mean? Like, I think he has a better arm than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is better, though. You know what I mean?
No. I think Joe Burrow is just a better processor.
Yeah. But, like, arm, because when you're talking about his arm, it's his arm strength. That's what we're talking about with Bo Nix. You know what I mean? When it comes to touch and accuracy and placement, I don't think he's elite at any of that.
I'm with you.
You know, when it comes to just arm strength, I think he has a really good arm. But that's really the only thing you could say is, like, at a super high level. I think he's a good athlete, but he's not elite. He doesn't have really, in terms of, like, processing, I don't think anything is elite there. So when you put into the top 5, you have to have something that's going to stand out.
His pocket presence is also elite.
It's good, man. I think the offensive line is also elite.
But his sack avoid.
But is that going to be a trait that puts you in the top 5? Like, sack avoidance is important, but I think there's just other stuff that is going to...
It's a huge factor.
It is, but there's just so much. We're talking about the top 5. Lamar's dual threat. Josh is dual threat. Mahomes is Mahomes. Stafford has one of the craziest arms we've ever seen. Joe Burrow, everything we mentioned about him. Then Caleb, in terms of the other 3 quarterbacks, I think Caleb's elite trait is his playmaking ability. He's really like one of 3 quarterbacks in the NFL right now when it comes to creativity.
I agree.
Drake May has proven to be one of the best passers in the NFL, period, in his second year. And now you're just adding A.J. Brown to it. And then Jaden Daniels has a dual threat ability as well. So Bo is only last for me just because I don't know what that trade's going to be to put him in the top 5. You can make the argument floor, you know what I mean, when it comes to like him and like Caleb maybe, or even him and Jaden with some of his injury stuff. Maybe the floor's higher because he could give you you're just more predictable what you're going to get from him in terms of completion percentage, just keeping the chains moving. But they put the ball in Bo Nix's hands a lot last year. He was number 1 in attempts, but it didn't lead to like this ridiculous output. He was 14th in yards per game. So I think there's some give and take with Bo Nix. I do think the offense will get better with Jalen Waddle. He hasn't had a real explosive weapon on this team. I just think when you're talking about the elite guys, Caleb has it, Jaden has it, and Drake May has it. Bo Nix is the one out of the 4 that I just don't see the elite trait with.
Are you guys laughing at me?
No.
Laughing at him, bro.
No.
Well, I'm
not
laughing at him.
Hey, you.
I know why he's laughing.
Why is he laughing?
Because he couldn't wait for you to put ball. You said that his eyes lit up, bro. Oh my god.
I'm laughing for a different reason, but it was good. I think you just spoke your truth. You're just being honest.
I was being honest.
I want to know what Riv's truth is. What's your truth? How would you rank the 4?
Like, who was better?
Yeah.
And it's different between who's better versus who could be in the top 5. You know what I mean?
I still think Jaden's the best.
Bo's probably 4 still.
I still think Jaden's
So
the
you
best.
think he has the best chance to be the top 5, like top 5 quarterback?
Yeah, I fuck with Jaden. I got a lot of love for Jaden.
That situation's ugly, man.
No,
Who's
it's so
number
bad.
2 and 3?
2 is probably
Jaden's over Drake.
Yeah, I fuck with Jaden, man. I do. That dual threat shit, man. That shit moves me.
Drake can move too.
Not like Jaden.
Sure, but he's more than good
Stop
enough.
it.
He's a
Cut
better
it out.
He's better
Let it
passer.
go.
The difference between scramblers or passers, what's larger?
Definitely scrambling.
I don't know, man.
Definitely scrambling.
How many rushing yards did Drake have last year?
I don't know, but Jaden got hurt, couldn't do shit. Number 1, Jaden. Number 2,
Drake 450.
Number 2, Caleb.
Like 700.
Nah, I'm gonna say number 2, Drake. I'm not a big fan of Caleb. Number 3, Caleb. 4, Bo Nix.
Drake May was the one who had the highest ceiling in the regular season. He almost won MVP. And a lot of the numbers would side with him winning the award, like over Stafford.
Yeah.
Many people thought that Stafford may have not been the MVP. When you look at the supporting cast of what both of them had, Stafford clearly had a better one. And against common opponents, Drake May had better numbers than Stafford. So Drake May, I know the schedule was weak as a whole, but against similar opponents, he played better than Stafford, which showed that against those similar defenses, he could perform at a similar level with a worse supporting cast. The boost that A.J. Brown gives him, usually you see quarterbacks year to year, 1 year not have that elite wide receiver, and then the next year they break out. Drake May has already broken out. So I think just naturally his next step is winning the award. And then now with A.J. Brown, it opens up the run game, and it now gives Drake May a more consistent option to go to that he trusts in the postseason. So I think next time around, he'll be better in the playoffs. And Romeo Doubs, I don't think that signing is also it's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think next to A.J. Brown being a number 2, a
receiver.
complimentary receiver, and now fits his role much better.
I need Jaden to get an elite guy.
It's McLaurin. They just need more depth around him.
They need everything around him.
So I would go Drake May 1. And number 2, I still believe in Caleb Williams' potential. His ceiling is high. That's why the rankings for him, I understand it. Part of me does. Because he can very well be one of the most statistically productive quarterbacks in the NFL. And the way he does it is just unique. You don't see anybody play how he plays with the magic that he possesses. He's just one of those dudes. And if that completion percentage hones in and he's better at that, the Bears can now manage having a subpar defense because they can keep drives alive. The number 3 would be Jaden, and then number 4 would be Nix.
Yeah.
But I do think that Nix is in a great situation. I mean, the Broncos now with Jalen Waddle aren't going to be so reliant on screens so much, and that's a big reason why he led the league in pass attempts. You know, a lot of those were screens.
Yeah, and J.K. got hurt, through the season. Probably the same running room, though.
It's a fact.
No, it is. Just Sky, man. I know what you be doing, bro.
But they were screens.
I know what you be doing.
They run through the pass game.
That was like the least crazy thing that he said.
Man, you got to just watch how he talks sometimes.
I have a beeline at him.
I know this guy, man. I know this guy like the back of my hand.
I mean, a
man.
majority of his throws were screens.
Yeah, no, I know.
He also
I know.
led the league in 20-plus yard touchdowns. So, like, it's not like he's saying that he doesn't have the capability to throw the ball deep down the field.
No, I'm with you.
He definitely didn't early in the season.
No, for sure.
just missed
Early
a
in the
lot.
season,
Mhm.
he could
It's
not
rough.
figure it out.
Jaden
But in the
was
second half, he was awesome.
Jaden was, if he didn't run into a literally an all-time great team, would probably be in the Super Bowl.
Really? Maybe.
If
It's
not,
possible.
but I don't know how much I care about that statement, though.
Yeah, not at all.
But
Actually,
that's just to show how great his rookie year was.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's the best ever.
Like his rookie year was pretty
it's
special.
the best ever, easily.
Like pretty awesome. Unfortunately, the team fell off a cliff.
you sure you don't love the division, bro? You love Jaden, you love CD, you love the Eagles. It's just the Giants. You used to love the Giants, so you
Quite
have an
literally
affection.
used to
You have an
love them.
affection with every team some way.
No,
Full circle moment.
there is legit dead ass hate when the season starts for all three of those teams.
So you just root for Jaden and just not the Commanders?
I don't really even root for him. I watch him. And I like what I see.
Okay.
Yeah, CD, I definitely root for. Like I need him to catch every pass.
Yeah.
I definitely root for him.
He's in George Pickens combos. Not bad combos.
Well, George Pickens actually jumped in his combos.
Talk.
For being realistic.
Talk.
'Cause
Yeah, no, that's
CD
true.
been in those combos.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
George Pickens bursted onto the scene. Full circle moment. Now we're going to start with the NFC East preview. And how we're going to preview each team is that we have a list of questions that we're going to ask for each team to preview what their upcoming season is going to be. We're going to start with the Philadelphia Eagles. But before we do that, right now, the NFC East on polymarket, this is what the odds are looking like. The Eagles have a 41% chance to win the division. The Cowboys are at a 31% chance. The Commanders at a 17% chance. And the Giants at a 14% chance.
Can we go 3 in a row?
So according to polymarket, the order would be Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. That's how they see the NFC shaping out this upcoming season. If you'd like to make your prediction on the NFC East, you can using our code PAS26. You deposit $20, get $50 on polymarket if you want to make your predictions for NFL divisions this upcoming season. So this NFC East preview will be brought to you by polymarket. Let's get into the Philadelphia Eagles. And the first question is, what is the Philadelphia Eagles' biggest question mark / storyline of the season this upcoming year?
To me, it immediately goes to how does Jalen Hurts adapt to a Man United offense, a.k.a. how does Jalen Hurts look under center and surveying the middle of the field and ensuring that he utilizes the middle of the field. I also would argue 1B is how does this wide receiver room look? Because I believe in Smitty. I think Smitty can have a solid season. But on top of it, Mekhi Lemon coming into training camp, OTAs, whatever it's called. Sorry, right now, off the top of my head, blanking. Already coming in injured. But we have Hollywood Brown coming in after that, Dontavian Wicks. Smitty goes down, wide receiver room really gets dark super fast.
A lot of skinny guys.
So that's really the one thing that could really halt them and limit them. Also, the health of the offensive line. It took a hit last season, and we saw it be a huge Achilles heel for these teams going up against the Philadelphia Eagles and stopping the run and making Jalen Hurts uncomfortable. Saquon Barkley was okay last season, especially compared to the year before where he was the best offensive player in the league. I still believe that Saquon Barkley is great. I just think that it's a matter of, is this offensive line going to stay healthy? How does this offense look with a new offensive play caller? Patullo was terrible. He was blamed for everything, and we needed him fired after weeks 3 and on. Everybody was done with him. Nothing was going to be on Jalen Hurts. Everything was on Patullo. And I think that to a certain extent, I agree. I do think Patullo wasn't a great play caller, but I also think some accountability needs to be brought onto the offensive personnel. That includes A.J. Brown, who did not show up in that playoff game versus the Niners. I don't want to just forget about him just because he's on a new team. We also just need to be consistent. He wasn't good, just like I don't believe the offensive line was good, just like I don't believe that Saquon Barkley was Saquon Barkley that we were expecting this upcoming season. It's a matter of this offense getting right and figuring things out entirely because there's a lot of pressure on them to be great.
Yeah, the NFC East, honestly, might be the easiest division to preview.
Couldn't agree more.
Because I feel like we'll get to all these teams, obviously, but the Cowboys, I have a question about one side of the ball.
100%.
Eagles, question about one side of the ball.
Talk.
Commanders and Giants, a lot of questions. But what you said is right. Everything's going to be about the offense when it comes to Philadelphia. When Vic Fangio is there, you have a lot of the same players. You did lose some guys, obviously, but you bring in guys like Tariq Woolen, for example. But it's on the coaching staff, right? It's not just Sean Mannion, but it's also losing Jeff Stoutland, who's been probably the best offensive line coach in the NFL currently and maybe of all time. He's been with the Eagles for, I don't know, over a decade now at this point. So losing him is going to be huge. And of course, the offensive line last year wasn't as elite as it was prior, mostly due to injuries. But it's really just about Sean Mannion, and it's about Jalen Hurts, and it's about their relationship. Because we saw last year as the season wore down and articles come out after Patullo gets fired, the relationship between Patullo and Jalen Hurts really wasn't good. It didn't seem like they saw eye to eye on things. You heard that there was pushback on some of the stuff that Patullo wanted to install, basically halfway or midway through the season that Jalen Hurts wasn't comfortable with. I would imagine that you have a full offseason, you have OTAs, you have training camp, you have plenty of time to install this stuff and to practice it, that Jalen Hurts has to be open to it. Last season, the Eagles ran 221 plays under center, 27th in the NFL. So they were not doing it very often. Only 21.7% of them were passes, the third lowest rate in the NFL. So when they were under center, it was mostly running, hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. He was more efficient under center. But when they did pass it, they had the third best EPA per pass. So it was a small sample size, but when they did go under center and Jalen Hurts ended up throwing the ball, it worked for them, right? I remember the Minnesota game, for example, stood out right before the bye week. We saw a lot of explosives in that game, and we said, okay, going into the bye, can we see more of this going forward? Come to find out, that was a friction point between the two of them. So if Sean Mannion and Jalen Hurts get on the same page, you could talk yourself into anything with Philadelphia. You could talk yourself into beyond winning the division, win the Super Bowl. Your talent-wise are up there with every team in the NFL. I know even with the loss of A.J. Brown, you're bringing in Mekhi Lemon, who isn't at his level, but at a minimum could be a complementary piece. The offensive line, if healthy, is going to be a top 10 unit. Defense is good. It's really simple with Philly. It's what's the relation between the quarterback and the offensive coordinator, and can they really expand this offense, and can they expand Jalen Hurts? Because the days of sitting in pistol or sitting in shotgun and just that's how you're going to, tear up defenses, it's not happening right now. We see it's a shift in the NFL, and there's going to be things to counteract that, of course, as the season goes on. But if you don't have some sort of way to disguise what you want to do, if you don't have multiple looks that you can go to, and when you get under center, there's just so much more you can do in the run game and the passing game that you hope Sean Mannion can bring over and, unleash this Eagles offense like we've seen in years past.
The only question that matters to me is the offensive line. I think the offensive line makes everything go for Philly. I think it opens up the run game. It opens up the pass game. I think even when the pass game is struggling, when the run game is going, there's nothing you can do to stop the Eagles. It's just a full wrecking force. And for me, that's the most important thing. And especially with, the ages of, Lane Johnson, he's up there in age, then Jordan Mailata, and then you got Landon Dickerson, who's dealing with back injuries last year. Cam Jurgens, is he ever going to improve? And then you got that right tackle spot that they're still trying to figure out. So for me, and then of course the tight ends that come in and block, that's also a tricky thing too. I think for me, like the reason why Jeff Stoutland left is because he didn't agree with the blocking schemes that Nick and Sean wanted to implement, and then they diminished his role. So that also makes me wonder, like, what are we cooking up in training camp? Like, I know quarterback is going to be a question. I know wide receiver is going to be a question. I believe in Smitty and the talent he can. I thought last year he was better than A.J. Brown. Last year, even when games where A.J. Brown didn't play when he was hurt, year prior, we saw Smitty step up when we need to. I look at that Jaguars game as one of those games where Smitty was the only guy out there, and he was putting up numbers, and he made some clutch plays for us. So I think Smitty can do it. Obviously, it's different when the whole season is, wrapped around who you are. I think we got some guys that can be decent, but I feel like we are, for the most part, when the run game is going, check down, splash play here, run game. And that's the success of the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not worried about the defense. I'm not worried about none of the guys we lost, because I feel like we brought in guys that's going to be solid, or that's going to be able to replicate what they did. The only spot I'm worried about is safety for the most part. But, my corners, elite. Linebacking crew, elite. Front seven, elite. The defensive line has the depth there. I think for me, it's just offensive line. Is the age going to catch up? Is Lane not going to be Lane anymore? Can Mailata regain that 2024 form? Can Landon Dickinson get back to being healthy? What is that going to do for the game? I think if that line is on go, nothing else matters.
I think their biggest question is the offense. Think of Jalen Hurts. He hasn't been in the offensive system like he's about to be in with Sean Mannion, and we have to see if Jalen Hurts adapts or if he doesn't. That's why I'm under the belief that this year is a make or break year for Jalen Hurts, because the Eagles brought in an offensive coordinator that is implementing a system that Jalen Hurts has not run, and by reports is not comfortable doing consistently with the under center stuff, with throwing over the middle. I believe this happened because the Eagles wanted to narrow down what the issue was for their team. They already cut one part of the issue. That was Kevin Patullo. His play calling was terrible. And then the other one is, okay, now Jalen Hurts, we want to see if you can adapt as a quarterback and you can run this system. So that's why I feel like Sean Mannion was made the coordinator as well.
Not just him, too. Nick, too.
I think Nick Sirianni is very much on a hot seat. Jalen Hurts probably is a year away. I think Nick Sirianni, disappointing season for the Eagles, he's done. They probably don't move off of coach and a quarterback in the same offseason. But I do believe that this year is a big measuring stick for Jalen Hurts. Last year, the offense was terrible, and the play calling was awful. The offensive line was consistent. The run game was inconsistent. But hey, coming into the year, Jalen Hurts was viewed as one of those top quarterbacks to a lot of pundits, and those quarterbacks are expected to carry their offensive loads. And there's a lot of quarterbacks that have been in a lot worse situations than Jalen Hurts was from a talent perspective this past season that put up much better results statistically. So I think this is going to be a make or break year for Jalen Hurts, and I think it's a make or break year for Sirianni. I just think the Eagles as we know it, like this current era, this year is a big year for Philadelphia as a whole.
Yeah. It is a big year.
Yeah.
It's a big year for the quarterback and the coach. It's got to be a big year.
The thing is, if you don't,
Like, we don't win this year.
if
Just run it
Sirianni
back.
gets fired.
Yeah.
if
Well,
you
win it. You mean Super Bowl?
Like, if we don't get to the NFC Championship game, Sirianni gets fired. You think about Hurts. But for the most part, everything stays the same.
Yeah, you have a great roster.
Yeah.
it is a great roster.
Like, defense going to stay. Offense.
Fangio, who knows? Fangio is thinking about calling it quits. He could move on.
The defense got better with Grenard and Woolen. I thought the defense got better with Jahad Campbell now getting starter reps because Nakobe Dean left to the Raiders. That brings me to my breakout player. I think it's Jahad Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
It was easy. His rookie year, he was already flashing potential of a Pro Bowl linebacker. I think after this upcoming season, we're going to view Jahad Campbell like one of the 10 best linebackers in football. He was playing at a very high level until Nakobe Dean came back, and then his role got diminished. But I think Jahad is going to step right in, and that Eagles defense is going to be elite once again.
It's hard to find a breakout player on defense when
Mine was definitely Jahad Campbell, especially for how he was able to start the season and adapt so quickly.
he's a good pick. It's just like he's just more reps for him. Like, because even when he played, you saw the potential. It's like, yo, he's gonna be great. For him, it's just like, all right, give him the starting spot. He'll be golden. Jalen Carter, special. Jordan Davis, top 10 list. He last year the questions were like, is Jordan Davis gonna be that guy to step up? He played really well. For me, it would probably be Nolan Smith. I think he's the one guy we're waiting to wake up. One guy we're expecting. That's the one thing we don't have. We don't have that, like, we have a star D tackle, but we don't have that star edge rusher. Like, we have a lot of really good to great ones that kind of complement each other, but we don't have like a game, like a Max Crosby or nothing like that. And I'm not saying Nolan Smith could be that, but you kind of need somebody to shake the room up a little bit. So that would be my guy because I feel like the secondary is fine. Offense, I mean, you can say Smitty, but I think we all understand the talent he is. So I wouldn't use him as a breakout player, but he could be one for sure because his numbers don't scream number one option. But for me, it'd be Nolan Smith.
I went on the offensive side, and it's a rookie, so I don't know if he'd be a breakout. But Mekhi Lemon, I think, is going to have a really good year. When you look at the offense, I know we look at maybe the opportunity that's there, and it's a little underwhelming because you're not really sure how many pass attempts, how much passing volume this offense is going to see. But obviously, A.J. Brown goes out, leaves a huge void. Smitty's going to fill that wide receiver 1 role. Mekhi Lemon as wide receiver 2. It'll be interesting to see how he works with Jalen Hurts because a lot of his stuff at USC was over the middle of the field. But I just think he's a really tough runner. He's great after the catch. If you just get him in space, some good things are going to happen.
So we have Jahad, Makai Lemon, and then Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, what do you think the floor is for them?
First round.
Do you think it's a
Playoffs.
given they win the division?
I think it's a given they
Given's
make the playoffs.
Probably division.
We haven't missed the playoffs in like 4 years.
Their floor is so high.
It's guaranteed playoff team.
I think the floor is a wild card loss.
Yeah.
The ceiling
Same
is
we
a Super
saw
Bowl
last
team.
year.
Floor is 11 wins.
Yeah, it's like the offense sucks, but it's still talented enough to be fine. The defense is elite. And then the first round, can you draw a good matchup? And I thought the 49ers were going to be a good matchup, and they weren't.
Have you seen our schedule? So light.
So if you were to pick one player from the Eagles, because we know the coach is probably under the most pressure, but if you were to pick one player from the Eagles that you think is under the most pressure, who would it be?
Hurts.
Okay, I'm not going to go basic. I'm going Devonta Smith. You just had A.J. Brown traded off your team, and now all the responsibility of being a wide receiver one falls onto you. And a lot of the conversation, whether they like it or not, because I think Drake May and A.J. Brown is going to be successful. I think it's going to work, and I think A.J. is going to be pretty loud about it, letting people know, I'm A.J. Brown. I know who I am. I'm going to get my yards. I'm going to be productive. Doesn't matter who my quarterback is. I'm going to be great. Now you're finally in a situation that we haven't seen since your rookie year, and now I need you to show me that you are capable of being that legitimate wide receiver one, that you deserve to be in the same breath as an A.J. Brown. This is a year that a lot of that falls onto him, unfortunately, because it's a rookie wide receiver too, and it's been a disappointing first-round pick in Hollywood Brown that is now on his third team, and Dontavian Wicks, who has a potential to be good. He just isn't consistent enough to really garner any legitimate any consistent respect amongst his peers. A lot of that falls onto Devonta Smith, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, it's hard not to be Hurts. Like, it's like, is there anyone on the defense that's like under this pressure? Like, is it Jalen Carter maybe?
I was gonna
To get
say
a contract potentially. I think you can make the argument there. It's basic, but it's so Jalen Hurts, because even if Smitty's struggling, I feel like we're gonna look at Hurts and we're gonna look at the offensive coordinator before we're gonna look at Smitty. You know what I mean? So it feels like Hurts can be under all the pressure in the world. But if you go defense, I don't mind Jalen Carter. You know, there's obviously been questions around him, his motor, the off the field stuff, overall just his production year over year. And, you know, is he elevating every year, and is he getting better every single year? And he's going to be due for a contract too. So, you know, Philly obviously has all these big contracts on the books. They can't pay everybody. So it's going to be on him if he's going to be someone that they end up moving in the offseason or paying him $20-something million.
Never say never, man.
Never know.
Never say never. It's Jalen Carter for me. I feel
like that answer.
Yeah, Nick is easy. Hurts is obvious. Quarterbacks always have pressure, especially when you're in a winning situation. So that's definitely a good answer. But for me, it's Jalen Carter. I feel like he is one of the most talented nose tackles in football. He gets double teamed at a pretty high rate. He can be a game changer. It's just the motor, the consistency. Can you put together I don't want to say flawless, because nobody puts together 17 games, but can I get 14, 15 games of just consistent elite play? Can you look like one of the best nose tackles in the league on a week-to-week basis? Can you be that type of guy? I mean, he is the head of the ship. You know, and then I want to say another guy, he's a free agent. Like, we picked him up, but like Tariq Woolen too. I think he also has a lot of pressure. This is a guy that kind of got benched in Seattle for a couple games. You know, you kind of saw him be a little bit inconsistent, and now you're coming into a situation where you have one of the best cornerback duos in football in QM, in Cooper DeJean. All you got to do is hold down your side, and you're going to be tested a lot in this Vic Fangio defense. This Vic Fangio defense, you know, they press up, they play man, they play physical, they play aggressive. And Tariq, you're going to be able to play your style. It's about now, can you just hold your end of the field as QM always holds his end of the field? So it's about being that counterpart to QM. So those would be my two guys.
The next team, the Dallas Cowboys, previewing the Dallas Cowboys for this upcoming season. What do you think is the biggest question for them? What do you think is the biggest storyline for them?
I feel like the biggest storyline is going to be for them, their secondary. Last year, it was the primary reason why they were not a playoff team. And as good and elite as this offense was, you had George Pickens assert himself on the scene as one of the best wide receivers in the game. And CeeDee Lamb may not have been the CeeDee Lamb that we were anticipating, but you still acknowledge him as one of the league's best. Dak Prescott continues in the regular season to assert his dominance. Javonte Williams coming into a new system and going out there and being a reliable, consistent 3-down back. It just relied on what was going on the defensive side of the ball. And now this season, there is just such a minimal amount of turnover. It feels like they made such drastic decisions. And I think that starting with going in the draft, addressing defensive line and bringing in Caleb Downs as their first defensive guy. Caleb Downs is going to be and I don't want to say put him under this microscope and call him Kyle Hamilton, because Kyle Hamilton's the best in the game, the most versatile. He is the best, but he's going to try and play that type of role for them. At least that's what I envision. He has the versatility to be that. It is why he was so highly touted coming out of the draft, that his versatility is desperately needed for them, especially considering that their cornerback room is still not the greatest. What is this secondary going to look like? Because I believe that their defensive line is going to be able to get after the quarterback, and I think it starts with the leadership that Quinnen Williams also sets in that interior. But what is the secondary going to do for you? Because you know the offense is going to be great. I trust him and believe in Dak Prescott in the regular season wholeheartedly that they are going to be able to get the job done. But it's just a matter of, can you limit the opposing team from just going down the field and marching down? And now Dak Prescott has to go and do it again, and then inevitably get blamed for them ultimately not being able to make the playoffs. But ultimately, everything will fall back to being Dak Prescott's fault, whether people like it or not, which I dislike it wholeheartedly. I think he has gotten underrated every single year, but I feel like this season did him the most service of understanding he's doing all he can. It's just, what can this defense do for you?
Yeah, I mean, basically what Drew's saying, mine was just Christian Parker, what he's going to do to this defense, what he's going to be as defensive coordinator. It's the opposite of Philly. New OC there, new play caller. Dallas gets, Christian Parker from Philly, the DB's coach. He comes over there. It's going to be how much they can improve this defense, right? It's if you're able to get this defense from one of the worst in football to a competent level, to a top 20 level, and Dak stays healthy, we're talking about a playoff team with the Cowboys. And I think Cowboys fans have a right to feel excited about Christian Parker. He's been under Vic Fangio since 2021. He was with Denver for a couple of years as their DB coach. He goes over, follows Fangio, and he goes to Philly, coaching Quinyon, DeJean, PS2, Justin Simmons. Like, obviously, these guys are great in their own right, and Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive minds that we have in the NFL right now. But consistently, Christian Parker and his group has been one of the elites in the NFL for multiple years now. When you look at what Philly did last year, just as a passing defense, okay, there we go. They led the NFL in yards allowed per game, opponent passer range, second completion percentage allowed. This was a unit that was consistently shutting down the other side of the ball. And of course, so much goes into that, right? Your front, what pressure you're getting, you got to have the talent. But when you're taking somebody, especially from, to be a first-time play caller, you want to have a track record. And talent aside, Christian Parker, when he was with Denver, especially towards the end, and when he was with Philly, has just been dominant everywhere they go. And then the talent increased too on the front seven. Quinyon comes in halfway through last year. He was an elite pass rusher too the second half of last season. I felt like when he got traded, I said this, a lot of people said this, Quinyon just hadn't been producing really as a pass rusher with the Jets. What did I say, Quinyon? Yeah. Quinnen hadn't been producing as a pass rusher for the Jets. And he goes to Dallas, and all of a sudden he's been one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Just, some Jet stink. But the second half of last year, the pressure he was creating, the sacks he was getting consistently in the backfield, he was playing like one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, period. You add Malachi Lawrence in the first round. Overton was somebody that got a lot of first round buzz prior to the season, but he fell. So you're adding some depth to the edge room there. The defense is looking okay. Like it's the linebacking core, I think, is still really questionable, but with the Caleb Downs addition, you could feel decent about the secondary. You could feel good about the defensive line. And we know, Christian Parker, defensive mind, if you're able to hit on that guy that comes in, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Vic Fangio stuff, too high, different fronts, weird blitzes. If you could schematically make this defense 4 spots better than it should be, Dallas could be scary this year. We say that often, but I think just adding a new defensive coordinator, new play caller, you allow yourself to have a different ceiling.
But Dallas can win the division. I don't think it's out the realm of possibility. The Eagles feel like they're imploding, and the Cowboys just got a new coordinator on defense.
How do we feel like we're imploding?
Because A.J. Brown got traded from Philadelphia, and the offense was awful last season.
Where's the imploding part?
Nick Sirianni's still the head coach.
Okay. That's imploding in the sense that, like, in a year, quarterback and coach could be gone. That's imploding a little bit.
Okay.
The Eagles' defense, it gives them a high floor. Dallas's offense gives them a high floor. Last season, they were the worst defense in football. If they become average, they're going to have a top 5 offense. With an average defense, they will skate by and win this division. Like, I think Dak Prescott, we know he's the best quarterback in the division. They're going to have the best offensive weapons with CeeDee and George Pickens in the division. The defense added a lot of talent with P.J. Locke, Jalen Thompson. Rashawn Gary, very disappointing player. He needs to be better.
I like the addition still, though.
Yeah, it's better than anything Dallas had last season, opposite of rookie Ezeraku. They drafted Malachi Lawrence, Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and then DeMarvion Overshown is my breakout player for the Cowboys this upcoming season. I think he is a tremendous athlete at the linebacker position, and they signed D. Winters, who was the starting linebacker for the 49ers for most of the season. I think they have made enough moves defensively to expect a pretty sizable jump on that side of the ball. I don't think they're going to be one of the best defenses in football, but I think they can rank near average, and that offense we know is going to be elite. They can win the division. And Brian Schottenheimer last season, he surprised me a lot. He was not incompetent. He was a good play caller. He used a lot of motion, and he elevated the offense. So to me, Dallas feels like a sleeper. If they improved more than a lot of teams in the league this past offseason, I thought what they did was tremendous.
Yeah, they also had a first-round pick last year, if I'm not mistaken, cornerback. His name is Siobhan Revel. Yeah, he missed most of last year with an ACL injury. So he's going to be back too. That's a guy who's going to be he's fighting for that starting spot, and they're going to need secondary. Listen, Dallas made a couple. Let me not say a couple. They had a good offseason, especially with the limited money they had. They had a good offseason. They have talent. Sleeper, I don't know, because I feel like everybody is expecting this Dallas team to be really good this year, especially with the offense showing what they did last year, and then the way they ended last year, which was a really good showing. They almost could have made the playoffs. They made a last burst at the end. You have CeeDee Lamb, you have George Pickens on the outside, you have Dak Prescott, who we know is a pretty great quarterback in the regular season. I don't know if anybody's sleeping. I do feel like they're going to be a playoff team. I just think, like you mentioned, that defense has to be average. I think it has to give you something to where the offense can, because the offense is going to keep you in the game. The offense is going to be elite. We know that. But that defense has to, if not, get you stops on a consistent basis, maybe like be a turnover type team where, we know turnovers can mask some things on the defensive side.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Dallas, though. I mean, I think Dallas and Philadelphia, those are the two teams vying for the division. I don't think that the Giants and the Commanders have a realistic shot at it.
So what's the ceiling and floor? Ceiling and floor, Dallas.
I think the ceiling for them is losing in the second round. I think the floor for them is missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I agree. I think that it's a young defense. It's a new defense. I mean, listen, if it clicks, it clicks, and we could be talking about one of the most exciting teams in the game.
Yeah.
I think ceiling is winning the division. Winning a playoff game would be interesting. I could see it, but I'm not feeling too strongly about it. I need to see how this defensive line looks. I need to see how this secondary looks. A lot of the pressure is on defense. I've said it a million times, but I'm also trying not to be basic and say that my breakout player is going to be Caleb Downs because, again, it's a rookie, but I probably also lean Donovan Ezeraku just because I feel like the opportunity for him is going to be a lot greater with Parker. I feel like he's going to be moved around on that defensive line, and his pressure, he's going to be needed to get pressure on the quarterback, and I think he's going to play such a big role.
Yeah, in terms of X factor, if Quinnen Williams could do in the second half of last year, and he just continues that, all of a sudden you're getting like one of the best defensive linemen in football. And I do think he should be able to do that. There's no reason why he shouldn't. So if he's able to play at that level, I don't think he's Micah Parsons, but you're adding an elite player to this defense while also adding pieces around it that you didn't really have while Micah was there. X factor, I guess more that, and then breakout. I'm going back to back, but Caleb Downs working with Christian Parker, just the success he's had with all of these secondary players, really like from the jump. We saw what Quinyon did, we saw what Cooper did, just all of his rookie year, how smart he is, how ready he is for the NFL. He's someone that you could see week one come in, have a complete understanding of the defense, be able to take away shit over the middle of the field. So he's someone that could really change the ceiling for this defense too.
I wanted to talk about the Giants, but I feel like it's better to pivot to the Commanders because they're coming off a year that was just riddled with injuries. But the year before, they made the NFC Championship game. So this upcoming season, new OC, Cliff Kingsbury's not there anymore. Jaden Daniels still doesn't have the requisite weapons you'd like to have around him, but the Commanders definitely emphasized bringing in an influx of talent defensively. signing Odafe Owe, signing Leo Chanel, drafting Sonny Styles. They made a lot of improvements to their defense, or at least they're attempting to. Do you think the Commanders did enough to feel confident about their outlook this upcoming season?
I don't hate the defensive personnel that they added. Also in the DB room, they added Amik Robertson, who was pretty reliable and consistent for Detroit. And Ahkello Witherspoon, which as your cornerback 2, maybe cornerback 3, given the fact they also signed Roswell Douglas. Who knows? Who knows? I don't dislike it. I love Sonny Styles. You guys know that I was really hoping he'd go to the Giants. Giants got blessed with Arvell Reese at 5. I can't be upset at them going Arvell there. Sonny Styles to them was perfect, especially considering the Bobby Wagner loss, getting him and replacing that and potentially getting the best defensive player in this draft at pick 7. I think that was a home run pick for them. Bringing in Odafe Owe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Some consider it an overpay. I feel like it was a necessity. They need somebody to go out there and get to the quarterback, especially after losing Dante Fowler, who was their leading sack getter. My concern ultimately goes to offense and the health of Jaden Daniels and how much they rely on him to be successful. I also would argue the same thing for Terry McLaurin as he's getting up there in age. In terms of the wide receiver 2, isn't it still Debo?
Debo
Well, he's not on the team.
Okay, so if that's the case, then it's Luke
Burks.
McCaffrey, Traylon Burks.
It's very naked.
Antonio Williams, Dami Brown's back too.
Yeah, they drafted
True.
a rookie.
Traylon Burks,
Had a moment.
he did have a moment, maybe.
Nuts.
It just how much you rely on Terry McLaurin still at this point in time is unfortunate. I do think that this defense did get better. They made a lot of great moves, but also losing Biadasz to the Chargers is going to be a huge loss to that offense. And now you're going to have Jaden scrambling again. I feel like the big thing for me looking at the Commanders would be, let's protect Jaden Daniels. This is the franchise. This is the thing that's actually holding us up at all. And they've really focused on defense because of how poor it was the last 2 seasons. And they're just kind of going into it thinking, carry us. Please, Jaden. The offense and the success really relies on you. I like the addition of Rashad White, given the fact that Austin Eckler was such a key piece to them because of how good he was in the passing game, that they wanted to get a lighter version of that. And I think he will do that for them. But I just have my concerns overall as the direction of Washington. I like the additions, but how's it going to look on the field? Are they going to be able to stay healthy? What is this wide receiver 2 going to look like? What's going on with the tight end? Like, you're also relying on Sanat to take another step in his game. I trust Jaden Daniels. I don't trust the Commanders.
It's a Jaden save me. That's what this roster feels like. They did make additions defensively, and I commend them. And I don't disagree with you. I think the defensive additions overall were good because the defense was terrible, and it's been terrible. But it just feels like the whole situation is Jaden needs to go out there and kind of replicate what he did in 2024 and play at an MVP level and lead a top offense. And the defense is probably going to be terrible, but Jaden just ends up scoring 30 points and we win. And I just don't think that's a recipe for success. Even if you're fucking Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the top quarterbacks in the world, you need help, whether it's your defense, skill position, coaching, offensive line. Where is that help going to come from Jaden Daniels? And at like a higher level, the Commanders, Dan Snyder, not Dan Snyder, Dan Snyder is it the old owner?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Dan Snyder sold the organization. Josh Harris comes in, 2024 happens. It feels like the organization's on like a whole different planet. Like, okay, one of the worst owners to this new ownership group, and the organization feels like it's going the right way. If you looked at their report cards, the 3 years prior, they were like dead last in everything. And this past year, they were top 3 in everything. So it felt like they were doing a lot of good stuff. But now we sit here today, and I look at this roster, and I'm saying, what are you doing for your quarterback? Like, you're investing into the facilities and training. Great. They were like the 3rd best ownership group on the report cards. But what are you actually doing for like the product on the field that's going to help your superstar quarterback? I think we have a pretty good track record now of showing if you're going to support a young quarterback, getting the defense better is great. But we should really try to do something offensively, focus on the offensive line, focus on the run game, and have him work off of that. And they're kind of doing the opposite. Rashad White's a good addition, but he's a pass catching back. JCM was actually pretty decent last season when all said and done, but still an underwhelming running back room as a whole. And I just have questions about Dan Quinn. Like, Dan Quinn's a defensive guy. He comes into Washington, And I understand the talent Washington isn't there, but you have 2 years of Dan Quinn. They've been a bottom 5 defense over these last 2 years. And in 2024, they were 30th in EPA per play and 26th in success rate. 2025. They were bottom 10 in third down defense, bottom 10 fourth down defense, second worst in the red zone. If you're a defensive-minded head coach, I don't need you to turn the Washington defense into a top 5 unit in football. But by year 2, I need it to be like a top 20 unit. If you're going to be on the side of the ball that does have a lot of variance year to year, you need to bring some sort of stability to it. But I feel like Dan Quinn has not shown that ability at all. And we'll see this year. You invest more in the defense than you had in previous years. If they can, make the defense overall just a better unit, the team could be better. But I still have questions about it. And to move off of Cliff Kingsbury, I'm not the biggest Cliff guy in the world. I didn't feel strongly either way. This team, even through the Jaden shit, it was a top 12 offense in terms of EPA per play. Like the offense wasn't the big issue last year. Even with Jaden on the field, off the field, they were still able to run a pretty efficient offense. But I do think as a whole, Cliff showed in with the Cardinals, and then even in year 1 and year 2 with Jaden, you're going to use your legs a lot with Cliff Kingsbury. You're going to be in shotgun and pistol a lot in Cliff Kingsbury. He likes to run his offense, this air raid in a specific way that maybe is more built for college. When you're looking at what the best offenses are doing now, it's a lot of heavy personnel in 12 and 13. And a lot of this stuff is built off of like tight ends and giving guys different looks. While Kingsbury feels like maybe just he left a little bit in the past. But you're bringing someone new in David Blau. First-time play caller, 30 years old. The couple things he did mention in his press conference was saying that he wants to get Jane Daniels under center more. Something, like I mentioned, we really didn't see at all his first 2 years. But he does want to keep some of that no-huddle and tempo offense we saw in 2024 with the Commanders. And we saw them be such an explosive unit. It just feels like an uphill battle. Even great play callers, or ended up being great, like Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen this past year, we saw how much those offense struggled early in the year too, with all of the, pre-snap penalties and the holdings and the false starts, just everything, these little things that go wrong. And you have a 30-year-old play caller coming in. And this is a coaching staff that feels like they're on the hot seat. If you go 6-11 again, if you go 7-10, there's no way you could bring back Dan Quinn. So that's a new play caller for Jaden Daniels. And it just feels like a real uphill battle for him. I think the talent is top 10 in the league, no doubt about it. But you could put damn near any quarterback on this roster, and it doesn't feel like their ceiling is anything more than like a wild card at best. Excuse me, at best.
You right?
Got something stuck in my throat.
The Commanders feel so far removed from being an NFC Championship caliber team, and they were just there a year and a half ago. But I feel like that run had a little bit of pixie dust on it. It didn't feel like a legitimate run. It felt like the offense was amazing and the defense turned the ball over in crucial moments, but it didn't feel replicable. They had an offseason similar to the Texans after C.J. Stroud's rookie year, where they bring in Laramie Tunsil, they bring in Deebo Samuel, they're bringing in more weapons to, make another leap, and everything just fell on their face. The injuries, it was just an awful season for Washington, and now they're at a point to where I don't feel like any pathway this past offseason was the correct one to take for Washington. I think either pathway would have been controversial. They went down the pathway of shoring up their defense, and now it's, well, you didn't do enough around Jaden. But if they did more around Jaden, it would have been, you didn't do enough to address the defense. So I feel like they tried to pick the defense over Jaden, because the one thing I will acknowledge that the Washington Commanders do have, they have an awesome offensive line with Sam Cosmi and Laramie Tunsil, and Josh Connerly was rookie last year. The offensive line is solid, but they're a Terry McLaurin injury away from being the worst weapons room in football, being the worst group of skill players around the quarterback in football. Like, that's how close they are to being just a bottom barrel unit as a whole.
Even with Terry, it's like probably a bottom 8 unit, maybe.
Even with Terry. And that's why, for me, a big player that they're going to have to rely on, and I've been high on him since Tennessee, is Chig Okonkwo. Okonkwo has all the traits as a tight end. He's explosive. He can make plays with the ball in his hands. They did say that he'd be featured in this offense, so I'm interested to see what that looks like. And we'll see if the run game can also be effective, because part of moving to heavier personnel packages is to maximize the run game, is to get more blockers on the field. And they don't have any star running back, but they have runners by committee, and we'll see if they could get anything from their run game to help Jaden out. So I think Washington, they improved this offseason, but they still don't feel like a playoff team to me.
Yeah.
They feel very far away from the team that made the NFC Championship.
And they are. And I think even that team that made the NFC Championship game wasn't, a plethora of talent. They still felt like that team where we were like, all right, this team is probably not going to make the playoffs. And then they could maybe win some games. And then they just, throughout the regular season, started getting those close games and started just coming on top of the scene. And, you felt like, damn, this was one of those sneaky teams that just came out of nowhere. And it was because of Jaden's greatness. And then, Terry had a big year too. And now you're looking at it now. And here's where I'm at with it. The offense has guys like Antonio Williams, Ben Sinnott, like you mentioned, Akuma, and then they have a good running back, a good running back group that's young. It's a lot of youth over there. Jaden and Terry probably the oldest guys over there, and the offensive line is going to be really good. So there's a lot of, I want to say, boom potential where you can say, all right, they're young, they're spicy, they can catch people off guard. If Jaden's this great quarterback like we say we are, he can man the ship. And I think he is as great as he is. And I think he can man the ship. The problem is Jaden dealt with a lot of injuries last year. Terry also, he didn't have training camp, and then he got hurt in the regular season. Like, these are two injury-prone guys where over the last couple of years, how much can you rely on them? And I think that's the most important part. Not only can you not rely on Terry, you cannot rely on Jaden. Even before coming into the NFL, he was dealing with a ton of injuries. So he's not the super reliant guy. And then when he's hurt and he tries to play through it, you can still see his game kind of diminish a ton. The defense, though, they brought in guys that they needed to, and I felt like sometimes you have to bring in talent. And, they brought in talent in the linebacking department with the draft and free agency. I'm still a little skeptical of that secondary. I've been skeptical of that secondary for a minute, even when they have Marshawn Lattimore. But, the defense is going to be what it is. I think just if you can see for the Washington Commanders, I think if you can see steady progression from the young players and a good offense and a defense make progression, I think that's a win in itself. Dan Quinn probably doesn't save his job because they're not going to make the playoffs. I mean, the NFC right now is so crazy. It's so stacked. I'd be shocked if they do it, but I was shocked 2 years ago. But I do think the offense, if you're a Commanders fan, you should feel you can be optimistic because you're like, all right, Jaden's coming back. There's a lot of young talent. Maybe somebody can break out, be a good player. We don't have anything else to rely on, so let's just focus on this young talent. I think they have a litany of good young talent. I don't know what their goal is. Their goal shouldn't be the playoffs because I feel like right now you have so many teams in the NFC that are geared up and ready, and I don't think the Commanders are ready. But I also think, they should have a good amount of optimism. If Jaden Daniels, he finishes the season healthy, I think that's a A+ in itself.
It's just a secondary for Washington. They made additions to their defensive line, but there's a reason why they signed Rasul Douglas. There's a reason why they brought in vets. Trey Amos, second-round pick from a couple years ago, and then Mike Sainristil. Those are their top two corners on paper, and they were awful last year. And they moved on from Marshawn Lattimore because that was a failed experiment. The defensive front should get more pressure, but the secondary is just awful.
Not good.
So the defense, even with the additions they made, it might not be enough to actually break into the top half of the league.
Yeah, it'll be tough, but I do like the addition of Leo Chanel, especially alongside Sonny Styles. That linebacking core is going to be good. That's going to be intriguing for me.
And the last team in the NFC East, the New York Giants. It feels like two different teams. What they'll be without Malik Neighbors and Scatterboo, and what they'll be with those two.
The amount of blood flow that I've lost as this offseason has progressed for the New York Giants makes me sad because I always look forward to rooting for the Giants. I love rooting for the hometown teams, I should say. But what disappoints me is that they went from having a play caller that I really trust in Todd Monken to a play caller I couldn't trust less in Matt Nagy. That really was unfortunate for them, especially considering that you saw the leap and the strengths that Lamar Jackson took in his game when Monken took over, and you were anticipating that to kind of carry over for Jackson Dart, who could use some refinement as a passer. I thought he lost the touch on his ball as the season went on, was a bit inaccurate. Obviously, a really strong playmaker, played a bit reckless, if you ask me truthfully, because he kept putting himself in harm's way, and he said that he refused to change the way that he's played because that's always how he's played and gotten to this moment. There's a part of me that can respect that, but there's also the part of me that understands you are essential to the success that the Giants are going to have. And that only happens if you're on the field. Now, you get Matt Nagy as your offensive coordinator. I think you had a home run draft. I think that you get Arvell Reese at pick 5. That went as good as you could ask for. And Maui Noah at pick 10, shoring up that tackle spot when he's most likely going to play guard 2. You just added depth to your offensive line. That is something that Jackson Dart desperately needed as well. All that now becomes moot because Malik Neighbors is potentially out for the first 6 weeks of the season. You lose Wan'Dale Robinson. And step back 3, guess who's going to be their wide receiver 1 again? Darius Slayton. It is just unbelievable that this just keeps leading the Giants to this direction. Hopefully, Cam Scatterbo comes back healthy, and he is 100%, so at least Jackson Dart has a partner in crime, especially with Harbaugh most likely wanting to be a run-heavy team. I just think that you just can't see a ceiling on the Giants without Malik Neighbors being there. You can't see a true ceiling in Jackson Dart without Malik Neighbors being on the field. You can't evaluate them, truthfully, because the hope was that he'd be available, and you have a true game changer on the offensive side of the ball. And without him, I just find myself not as enthusiastic for the Giants. I think this defense is going to be nuts. I think this defensive line is going to be one of the best defensive lines in the game. I think Abdul Carter breaks out and becomes one of the best defensive players in football this year. He was one of the best towards the second half of the season at getting pressure on the quarterback. Didn't finish all the plays, but the disruptions that he's causing on the field. You lose Dexter Lawrence. That's a bummer without a shadow of a doubt. But understanding that Brian Burns is one of the best edges in the league, the versatility Abdul Carter has, this is just going to be one of the more talented duos in the league. And I think that you see Abdul Carter finish a lot more of these plays. It's gonna be an interesting season for the Giants. I just don't know if I could feel all in the way that I want to feel, or at least I thought I would feel when this offseason first started for them.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question for them is it really like a new era in New York? You know, you make this big splash hire at head coach. You have the first round quarterback. You have the exciting young wide receiver and the exciting young running back. But there's major question marks about all of them. You know, like Scatterbo and Neighbors are injury related. Jackson Dart, second half of last year, really once Stable left, everything went down to shit. We didn't get to see a full season of Jackson Dart playing at really even a competent level. You know, I think there's a lot of excitement around Jackson Dart, and Giants fans should be excited because he did flash, but the consistency, you know, wasn't close to being there, right? And John Harbaugh, there's a world where the NFL has passed him. And this is not me coming from a bitter Lamar fan who, you know, shows up or doesn't show up in the playoffs. But when you do have the CEO style head coach, I feel like that is going out of style. I do feel like if you're going to hire a head coach, the ideal way, whether it's offensive or defense, is to get a play caller. Get somebody that can really change where you're doing schematically on one side of the ball and elevate you, not only your ceiling, but also your floor. When you hire a guy like John Harbaugh, you are reliant on getting 2 coordinators right. And we already feel terrible about one of them. The Matt Nagy hire, it does not get more depressing than that. We've seen him nerf Patrick Mahomes the last couple of seasons. Of course, we see what happened in Chicago when he was the head coach and he was, you know, the main play caller and had that responsibility. It's really difficult to look at that hire and paint it in a pretty light, unless you're just a true diehard Giant fan that think Jackson Dart can overcome everything and everyone's going to be healthy. But from an offensive perspective, it's depressing, I think. I think Cam Scatterbo is in for a big season. When he was the primary rusher last year, weeks 2 to 7. So if you take away week 1 where he didn't play much and week 8 when he got injured, he was averaging 100 scrimmage yards and a touchdown per game. I do think he's someone that can break out and be like that borderline top 10 running back. And we know how great Malik Neighbors is. Jackson Dart has some questions in terms of, number one, just his availability, how reckless he can be as a runner, of course, how reckless he can be as a passer as time, how consistent he can be as a passer at times. And this offensive line is always relying on Andrew Thomas and what he can do. Defensively is where you can get excited because I do like the Denard Wilson hire. You know, a couple years back in Tennessee, that was a defense that was able to play really well with some talent that I think was questionable. Last year, things kind of fell off the rails there. But he did, you know, briefly stop with Mike McDonald's and John Harbaugh in Baltimore back in 2023. He had a pretty good quote too that, you know, obviously this is like presser stuff. I don't know how much you could really buy into it, but it's the stuff you want to hear. He said in April, in terms of the structure and where we play, we're going to be unpredictable. We're going to be unpredictable on how we line up and what we do. We're going to be dynamic because we have dynamic players, and it's our job to put those dynamic players in the greatest position to have success. It's what you want to hear. I think what we saw last year, though, is having a great defensive line and pass rush is great. And, you know, probably the most important thing for defense. But what's behind it? Because they had Brian Burns awesome last year. Abdul Carter awesome last year. Sexy Dexy awesome last year was not on that team. It didn't matter because what was behind it really wasn't good enough. So I think Denard Wilson is going to be able, you know, especially more than like Wink Martindale was back when he was the defensive coordinator. I think he's going to be able to, you know, bring more out of this defense and at least have them at a respectable level. It's really just John Harbaugh just doesn't give me anything. I don't see the upside. I don't see the ceiling. I don't see any innovation. I don't see anything that's going to put you over the top with this hire. What you're hoping, and when it happened, was can it bring some stability? You know, this organization, the Giants have been one of the worst organizations in football for the last decade. You know, in terms of win percentage, it's them and the Jets as the bottom two in football. So they've been so bad for so long. It feels like he's coming in to try to have some stability. But I feel like a lot of Giants fans are looking at this upside because you have this Super Bowl winning head coach and you have this young quarterback with potential. But I still have a lot of questions about this team.
I'm out on coaches like John Harbaugh, where they don't specialize at one side of the ball. They don't call plays. Brian Daboll last year, his knock was that he blew leads. The Giants were in a lot of games that they shouldn't have been in, and they lost them in the fourth quarter because of letting up comebacks because their defense for the most part was bad. And Brian Daboll gets fired because of that. It was after the Bears game he got fired. Mm-hmm. He gets fired because of that. They bring in a coach that is notorious for blowing leads. Baltimore, while they've had an excellent win percentage, they have blown a lot of leads. And now he's in New York and he doesn't call one side of the ball. The coordinator that Jackson Dart had success with is no longer there in Daboll. And now Matt Nagy is replacing him. Malik Neighbors, we don't know what's his status.
Brutal news.
When he's going to be back, if he's going to be 100% healthy. Cam Scatterbull, we don't know about that either. I just don't think the Giants, they just aren't moving me. I think I like some of the moves they've made, especially on defense. I like the Francis Maianoa pick. I think their offensive line got a little bit better. But ultimately, like, I don't think the offense has a true game changer week to week that can rely on that will be playing. And then on defense, the secondary is still pretty young and there is no standout player. Like Drew Phillips, I like him the most out of their group, but then Greg Newsome is coming in, who they signed, and he was awful last year when he got traded from Jacksonville to Cleveland. He wasn't good. They drafted Colton Hood in the second round, who he might be a good corner.
That was a good pick.
But overall, like you're looking at Paulson Adebo, who hasn't been able to stay healthy, dating back to like New Orleans, and he was decent this past season. But I just look at the Giants and they don't feel like they can compete with the Cowboys and the Eagles. And I think with the Commanders, like we saw it earlier, the percentages on polymarket that they were behind the Commanders, and I think it's true. I mean, you just trust Jaden and Terry over anything that the Giants really got going on. And I think the Commanders have shown, you know, as long as you got the quarterback and you got a good system, they can win a lot of games. And what's holding back the Giants is that you have Harbaugh, but then you brought in Nagy. At first it was Monken, and I feel like with Monken, you were rightfully optimistic about what they could have been. But as soon as he went to Cleveland and now it was Matt Nagy, all of the optimism went out the window because Matt Nagy is just notoriously known for not being a very good offensive mind.
Yeah.
And you can't even be upset that Monken didn't come to the Giants. He took an opportunity to become a head coach. That opportunity just doesn't happen.
Take that every time.
100%. So if you're a Giants fan, it sucks. It really does. And I talked to Charles about it, and Charles gets mad at me because I just kind of have faded the Giants so badly. I faded Jackson Dart, but it's just an unfortunate series of events for them. Jackson Dart goes from Monken to Nagy. He goes from Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Neighbors to Darius Slayton again. And the combination of Isaiah Likely, which, respect to him, Isaiah Likely was a huge addition to them. But I'm not sure what this offense is going to be. And I think that's why mainly I can't get excited. And then the secondary still has its ways to go. I think that front seven's good. I think that
It's
it has
great.
some potential, but obvious potential. It's already shown a lot of production, but that secondary is just so bad that you just are going to ask them to get after the quarterback so that the secondary isn't
Yep.
that much of a factor, which is possible. Don't get me wrong. We've seen in the past front sevens just be so overly great that it makes up for such a strong lack of secondary, but inevitably it comes back to you.
And I think they have the talent in the front four to really shake shit up. I do think Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and them boys can do it. I think Brian Burns last year was awesome for them. It kind of gave him the inclement, like, all right, I could see why we can trade Dexter. We have these young guys on the edge, pretty dope. But a lot of things what you guys said are true. It's too much I don't know in New York. I don't know about the head coach. I don't know about the coordinators. I don't know about the secondary. It's super young. I don't know about Malik Neighbors and his knee. Apparently he had to get like another surgery and he might miss time, but he might not be 100% healthy. I don't know about Scatterbo and his injury concerns. Even Dart got a little bit banged up last year too. So it's too much I don't know. And I think with New York, you're in the division where, like we keep talking about, Eagles, Cowboys, they're at the top of the race, and you got Washington. And like I keep harping on, which I'm gonna keep doing it, the NFC is a bloodbath. And even the Giants' schedule is super tough this year, if I'm not mistaken. So like the Giants, they're a couple years removed. From what I remember, I didn't hate the John Harbaugh hire. I just don't know. It's too much I don't know. And I think with New York right now, you fired your coach last year. You drafted Jackson Dart, although he didn't have insane potential as a quarterback prospect. Honestly, outside of Abdul Carter and Malik Neighbors, you're kind of just, you've tried to bring in guys in the secondary, like you mentioned, Colton Hood. They tried to bring in Deontay Banks in the draft. It hasn't played out the way you wanted to, but your front four has been awesome when you've brought in guys and you've drafted. So I think with the Giants, stay competitive as possible, but it's too much I don't know. Too many questions you have to answer from week 1 to week 17. It's just going to be a lot this year.
Now, to wrap up the show, we're going to build the perfect NFC East team. Quarterback, running back, 3 wide receivers, tight end, offensive
We have
line.
all the positions.
A lot of them are going to be Dallas Cowboys.
And then for the Eagles, we're going to have 2 defensive tackles, 2 edge rushers, 2 inside linebackers, 3 corners, and then 2 safeties, of course.
Okay.
For the
So
NFC.
quarterback.
Jaden.
yes.
Oh, Dak. Quarterback
So-
Dak.
Let's start off with the quarterback. Dak Prescott is the quarterback.
Easily.
Just
Yeah,
respect.
it's him or Jaden, but Dak I think has been more consistent.
Running back, it's
Saquon.
Saquon
Saquon
Barkley.
Barkley,
Yes, it is.
Wide receiver, it's CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens,
Malik.
Malik's hurt.
Malik Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin. It's between those 3.
If
It's
Malik's
Smitty.
healthy, I'll go Malik. But right now, it's
He's
gotta
not.
be Smitty.
Smitty.
Considering impact, shit, McLaurin has a real conversation. Like, without him, they're terrible.
Without him, we're terrible.
This year, without a doubt.
I'll go Smitty.
I'm fine with that.
Devontae Smith as a 3rd wide receiver spot, tight end.
Dallas.
Dallas, Jake Ferguson, Isaiah Likely.
Let's do it. Let's get us in
I
there.
guess
It's
Jake.
Dallas.
It's yeah, could be Dallas. I don't know. I could hear all of them. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I could hear Jake. I could hear Chig. I could hear Isaiah Likely.
Really?
Dallas Goddard's like a solid possession receiver, but I don't think he's far and away the best.
I mean, he was an elite red zone threat last season.
Sure.
Dallas Goddard at tight end, now left tackle.
Oh, we're going position by position.
Yes, you have
Andrew Thomas.
Andrew
Lane.
Thomas.
It's
got Lane.
it's easily.
It's
He's
late.
right
Well, at least
tackle.
played right.
I was gonna
Right.
say.
Yeah.
It's Mailata.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
facts.
Larry
Facts.
Tunsil,
It's
Andrew
easily
Thomas.
Andrew Thomas.
yeah.
Andrew Thomas at left tackle. Now let's go right tackle. Lane
Lane.
Johnson.
Lane Johnson.
Yep. Are we going guards? Are we doing the
Yes.
whole 5?
So
Tyler
now
Smith.
left guard. You could Tyler
Tyler
Smith.
Smith for sure.
Yeah.
The guards feel like it could be Sam Cosmi and Tyler Smith, both at the guard spots. Landon
Mhm.
Dickerson is also
If
in that
he's healthy, yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the Giants. They don't have nobody at the guard spot.
Unless you think Mauno is about to come in and be.
He might play guard. Yeah.
The
'cause they have
Cowboys, it's
Luminor.
Tyler Smith, and then
At center.
I'm thinking
Who we
about the
got at
Eagles.
center?
So yeah, so do you want to go
Jurgens
for-
or
for guard? Do you want to go with Tyler Smith and Cosmi or Tyler Smith and Dickerson?
mm,
We can go Tyler Smith and Landon.
So Tyler Smith and Landon Dickerson, and then the center.
Center Commander. It probably would have been Biadasz, and they released him.
He's gone.
Definitely ain't Cam Jurgens, man.
It's not Cam.
It's not John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
I'm gonna be honest, it might be Cam Jurgens.
Just off,
I
just
think
nobody
just-
else.
He just made
Yeah.
the Pro Bowl too this past season.
Yeah.
Who's the Cowboys center?
Cooper Beebe.
Cooper.
He wasn't terrible. Was he
It's
a rookie
probably
last year?
Jurgens.
Yeah, it is Jurgens, I think.
We got the whole offense, man.
So Cam Jurgens at center. Now let's go to the defense, the two edge rusher positions.
Brian Burns.
Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter.
Grenard on this.
I'll probably
Yeah,
put-
Jonathan Grenard. You have Nolan Smith. You have Odafe Owe.
it's either for me Carter or Grenard. Yeah.
I'm going to plant my flag on Abdul Carter.
I like Abdul Carter too.
It might be Brian Burns and Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
that's
Carter's upside over Grenard and
Yeah.
then Nolan Smith
Mhm.
and then Carter over
That's fine with
Odafe
me.
Owe. Defensive tackles.
Big J.
Jalen
Definitely
Carter.
Jalen
Quentin
Carter
Williams.
and Quinnen Williams.
I agree with that. That's good. Jordan Davis would probably be the next guy up.
Yeah.
Then Quinnen Williams, Jalen Carter, corners, Quinyon,
Quinyon,
linebackers.
Cooper.
DeJean. Yeah, I think. Are we doing 2 corners or 3?
3.
Drew Phillips, Nickelback.
Did we get all three?
Unless you're playing DeJean.
The
corner.
corners-
Honestly, Reek Woolen.
That's what I said.
The
Did we get all
corners
three?
might be
Yeah, I
all
think we
three
get
of
all
the Eagles
three.
starting corners.
Yeah. It's definitely nobody on the fuck Commanders.
I was going to say, unless we're disrespecting Cowboys
Deron
corner.
Bland.
Deron
Yeah, Bland.
Yeah, I think I would go Reek Willen though, honestly.
Fine with
So the corners are all Eagles, and at linebackers, is it
All Eagles?
all Eagles again?
Zach Bond for sure.
Bond's locked. It's
Bond
just
easily.
Jihad.
You
And
wanna
then you
set-
got the young guys, though. You got Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese.
You want to plant your flag on Jihad? Now's the time
I
to
was
do
going
it.
to say Leo Chanel.
Leo Chanel
Leo
too,
Chanel,
Bobby
too.
Okereke.
There's some options.
Okereke's gone, I think.
Oh yeah, I think he might be gone too.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go Leo Chanel, but I could hear Jihad Campbell. But I would go Leo Chanel.
We could go Leo Chanel for now, unless we're going on upside, which honestly.
I would go fucking Arvell if we're going for
Oh,
upside.
why don't we go Sonny
Sonny
Styles?
Styles.
Or
Yeah,
Sonny.
facts.
So we
Either
do
or.
Zach Bond and Sonny Styles.
I like that.
Get some
And
freaks
then-
out there.
At safety,
Safety,
That's what we
Caleb
bow out.
Downs,
Javon Holland.
Javon Holland.
Yep.
Could it be
Um,
Javon Holland and Caleb Downs? Could that be the safety?
That'd be kind of
spots?
fire.
I'm fine with
Jalen
that.
Thompson, too. But no, I think Holland and Downs.
Holland and Downs. So that is the all
Coach,
NFC East team.
Oh.
The coach is
head coach,
Defensive coordinator Vic.
offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, head coach Harbaugh after we shit on him.
Nah, gotta be Nick. Gotta be Nick, bro.
It's got to be Nick.
Super Bowl. Gotta be Nick. I know we're
Damn.
aggravated. I know we're upset, but it has to be Nick.
Really, Nick Sirianni is head coach.
Who else is gonna be?
John Harbaugh.
Choker. Not a winner.
I like
It's not
Harbaugh
Dan
better.
Quinn. I don't want it to be Sirianni. I don't want
Harbaugh's
it be
been to
Harbaugh.
one Super
It's
Bowl.
fucking Schottenheimer,
Nick's been
bro.
to 2.
He's the best coach right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, let's
Nick-
not pick the Super
Nick
Bowl.
beat
winning
the
shit.
Chiefs.
Okay, all right, man.
Harbaugh can.
Do you care at all?
That's true.
Do you care at all?
Yeah, I kind of want my whole team to be on
What
this
did he
thing.
do?
Hmm?
What did Nick Sirianni
What
do?
did John do?
Huh?
What did John do?
In 2012?
Brother.
Hey, Sirianni
What's
hired
wrong
the
with that?
guys. That matters.
He did hire the guys.
What mattered? 2012, bro. Come on, bro. That was, you talk about, come
No,
on.
that's what I'm saying.
Like 2012, we was in high school.
Yeah, that's what I said. Schottenheimer's the coach.
Yeah, come on. Nah, come on, gang.
At least he's bringing something to one side of the ball.
But we have offense already. Who's our offensive
It
coordinator?
was gonna be Schottenheimer.
Listen, man. If you want to disrespect the Super Bowl winning coach, you can do it.
I will happily disrespect
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni as football coach.
You could do it, bro. At the end of the day, results matter.
And that's going to do it for episode 593 of the Pick a Side podcast. You guys can follow us on TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook at the same handle, and on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.